6 a.m. St. Louis, KMOX FM, Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's 6 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. There's a massive makeover underway at the White House, and a lot of people aren't happy about it. President Trump is plowing past historic and architectural concerns and moving ahead with the complete destruction of the East Wing to build a massive ballroom.
In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure. The way it was shown, it looked like we were touching the White House. We don't touch the White House.
He says it'll be able to hold 999 people instead of the 650 the original plan called for. Correspondent Weijia Jiang rounded up opinions on Pennsylvania Avenue.
Tourists we spoke with on site were torn over the president's project.
I think it's disgraceful. It's a desecration, really, I think. I don't know that anybody particularly wants a big ballroom.
Nixon had his bowling alley. JFK had a swimming pool. So, he's adding his touch. And it's going to be beautiful when it's done. Absolutely beautiful.
A U.S. strike took out a 9th alleged drug boat last night. This time, the target was not in the Caribbean, but the Pacific Ocean. At least 5 people were killed. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
There are people traveling on international waters headed towards the United States with hostilities in mind, which includes flooding our country with dangerous, deadly drugs.
The Trump administration has slapped new sanctions on Russian oil companies in a bid to encourage an agreement on the war in Ukraine. CBS News senior foreign affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan.
2 European officials tell me that Trump now has some realization that Vladimir Putin needs to be pushed in order to come to that negotiating table, and that he cannot demolish a kindergarten and pay zero cost for it.
Several young children were injured in a Russian attack on a school in Kharkiv this week. History just made at the Vatican. Britain's King Charles prayed with Pope Leo in the Sistine Chapel last hour. It is the first time since the Reformation 500 years ago that the heads of 2 different Christian churches have said prayers together. A popular dating app is now making users show face to log in.
It's called Face Check. Tinder records a video of your face and compares that to your current profile pics to make sure it's you, then uses the biometric data of your face to detect any duplicate accounts to cut down on fake profiles. It should also help stop a growing number of AI bots that try to steal your personal information or trick you into scams. Other dating apps like Bumble also use facial recognition software, but on a voluntary basis. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
Dow futures are down 46, Nas futures up 4. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best, the only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best, better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
It is 6:03 and we have clear skies, 41 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. In the news this morning,
they were about 900 feet up in the air. They had a man basket that was on scene already. We put 3 tower technicians in the basket.
That is Maplewood Assistant Fire Chief and Rescue Duty Officer with St. Louis County Task Force 3, Matt Wilcox. But Tower Team Technician Stephen Garcia was not in the basket. He was on the tower before special operation firefighters arrived trying to stop a young man from climbing higher on the tower.
Chief Wilcox explains what firefighters did when they arrived.
They put him in a victim harness, which is a harness to secure him to the tower. Then they moved him from the tower into the man basket. They secured him in the basket, and then they brought the worker and put the worker in the basket and lowered him down from 900 feet to the ground. This is a very dangerous rescue. And the gentleman, Steven, that you're about to meet, pretty much saved that man's life.
You ever had to do that kind of rescue?
No, we train on it, though, every quarter.
The tower team technician, Stephen Garcia, had to struggle to keep the young man from climbing higher.
I say, hey, man, I need you to send me up in the pan, and I need you to send me up above him to where I can pull the pan in the tower. I can get inside of the tower, get on the ladder above him, and stop him from getting any higher. I get inside the tower just in enough time to stop him from climbing, because he was about 5 foot below me. He was ready to surpass me.
And Garcia says the man fought him the entire time they were climbing.
My main concern was him getting on the antenna, because he wanted to climb to the very top. I was just concerned about him slipping. So I made sure I held him with a tight grip.
As to why the young man climbed the tower in the first place, he told Stephen Garcia he wanted to see the lights. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Even after 2 days with a federal mediator, the strike at Boeing appears no closer to an end.
The two sides are now publicly feuding over the conditions for returning to work. The Machinists Union says it will not vote on Boeing's latest offer, in large part due to what it calls an unacceptable return to work agreement. The union claims the proposal would allow managers to perform their jobs for 30 days and would terminate members who took other jobs to support their families during the 79-day strike. Boeing fired back with its own explanation, saying the 30-day period is necessary for a safe and orderly recertification process for thousands of employees. The company also says it has offered to work in good faith with any employee who has unavoidable circumstances preventing an immediate return. The dispute over the return to work terms comes on top of ongoing disagreements over wages and bonuses, with both sides remaining far apart. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is seeking to have his criminal case happen soon or thrown out altogether.
His attorneys are introducing 3 motions in their first hearing since the case was moved to Greene County, including a motion to dismiss. Part of their argument, an assistant county counselor said the Proposition B mail paid for by taxpayers did not violate the law despite its one-sided language. I asked Page's attorney, Matthew Ratterfield, if permission from a lawyer is enough to dismiss a criminal case.
It is an absolute defense to something such as this, to commit, voting fraud, an election fraud type offense.
They are also seeking to block prosecutors from using Page's cell phone as evidence, arguing they misled the judge when obtaining a warrant for it. The third motion is requesting a speedy trial, hoping to have one by April to prevent influencing Page's potential re-election campaign. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
KMOX has reached out to a spokesperson for the Attorney General's office for comment.
The St. Louis Fed releasing a new report showing a quarter of Missourians still have subprime credit scores. This has led to an increased reliance on non-traditional lenders like buy now, pay later options or payday lenders. Liz Dykman with the St. Louis Fed tells KMOX the key to improving those numbers is financial education.
Expanding the education either early in school or even through employers, for example, might be a good way to help people better make their journey towards credit.
The report did find those without any credit did decrease in the past 3 years.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. The price of beef may have you moving on to other meats.
Beef has gone up like 14% in the past year. But if we're talking chicken, it's about 1.7%. Other things have been about 1.4.
SLU professor, KMOX business analyst Jerome Katz says drought conditions, feed prices, disease in other parts of the world, and tariffs are all driving beef prices higher. Katz is a guest on Total Information AM every Wednesday at 8:30.
How did chickens derail some major projects in St. Louis? We've got the details on that coming your way after we check traffic and weather at 6:08.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett with Washington University School of Medicine and Siteman Cancer Center. Mammograms, when should people get them? How often should they get them?
People should start getting mammograms at least by age 40. If you don't have a significant family history of breast cancer, then we recommend that you start at 40, and we recommend that you get them every year to give yourself the best chance of finding a breast cancer as early as possible.
What would you say to someone who is nervous to get their mammogram?
Well, that would be everybody. So what I would tell them is that they're doing it for themselves. They're doing it for their families, for their kids. The reason we do mammograms is, as I said, to find cancers as early as possible. If we can find them as early as possible, they're very treatable.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Hey, Henry Barnes is checking back in. He says, good morning on Facebook from KMOX's #1 fan. Oh, Andrew Price. He's going for you. He's coming for you. It's 6:10. We love hearing from our listeners. We are streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube. And here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not a bad Thursday morning out there, Tom, for the most part. In fact, it's better out west in the construction area. We still have one of the slowdowns still present, though. Eastbound 70, the longest delay is that run from 47 into the Wright City Rest area. It's still pretty slow through there, but not jammed. But the road work we had at Wright City and at Wentzville, that's all thinned out or been picked up, so there are no delays. Northbound 55 starting to see volume, not only approaching 67, but a brief slowdown north of Highway A. The right lanes through Butler Hill, and it looks a little busy Loughborough into Virginia as well. And on the Illinois side, we've got road work going on. They have an additional lane closed on eastbound 64. I think it's the 2 right lanes now. From, well, it started overnight, but it goes till 3 this afternoon. So eastbound 64 through the Greenmount Road area is kind of sluggish right now as well. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunny but cool today, high 64. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and crisp with a low of 33 in some of the coldest northern suburbs with some frost to 41 downtown at the Arch. Increasing clouds and cool tomorrow, maybe a late day shower, high 61. Saturday will be cloudy and cool with a shower or two around, high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 41 degrees in downtown St. Louis with clear skies, and the weather is sponsored by Allstate. Some people just know you could save money on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Those people are probably saving a carload of cash right now. So what are you waiting for? Check Allstate first for a quote today. You're in good hands with Allstate.
It's 6:12. A state law about backyard chickens has killed St. Louis County's brand new land bank.
The news is disappointing, but it won't deter us from our work here in St. Louis County to address problem properties.
County Executive Sam Page right there. A judge this week ruled the 2024 state law that authorized the land bank is unconstitutional because it violated the single subject rule. The legislation bundled the land bank provision with several unrelated topics, including a ban on homeowner associations prohibiting chickens. The ruling sidelines the land bank, which had only just begun meeting to tackle the issue of abandoned homes in the county. Page says he's forming a committee to study how to move forward.
So back to those backyard chickens. Yeah, the judge didn't rule against the land bank, but the ruling also threatens the redevelopment of several major historic building projects. That's because lawmakers inserted into House Bill 2062 a provision overriding homeowners associations' restrictions on the number of backyard chickens. That led to a lawsuit filed by the Four Seasons Lakeside's Property Owners Association. In ruling in their favor, the judge struck down the entire law, including the county's land bank and a provision designed to facilitate $1 billion worth of development in downtown St. Louis. Even if an appeal is successful, some developers say the unexpected delay will throw major deals off track.
A $195 million redevelopment is planned for a downtown high-rise.
It's the middle of 3 original mansion house high-rises on 4th Street in downtown St. Louis. Originally opened the same year as the Arch, Gentry's Landing. The North Tower still active. South Tower has been empty since 2019 after being a revolving door of hotels. Developer New and Found, with offices right across the street, is leading the charge. Founder and CEO Steve Smith.
We're thrilled to be part of the next generation of Mansion House, bringing it back to its original luster. It's going to be a fabulous place to live opposite the Arch grounds.
The plan is to have work done by spring 2027 with 415 units, monthly rent about $1,100. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
More than half of Republicans and Democrats surveyed expect to be reliant on Social Security benefits when they retire. But 76% are concerned those benefits won't be available to them when they need it. That's according to a new Bankrate survey that shows the closer to retirement a person is, the more reliant they expect to be on Social Security. Nearly 4 in 5 current retirees say they are reliant on those Social Security payments to pay for necessary expenses.
We want to end this shutdown immediately.
But Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski says Democrats have drawn the line in the sand to protect people's health care, returning the ACA tax credits and not gutting Medicaid, which was not about efficiency, she says.
But they have yet to point to one meaningful thing that really elevates this issue around efficiency. I am looking for efficiency in government, no doubt about it, looking to save taxpayer dollars, but cutting Medicaid when our healthcare system really relies on it in order to keep our rural hospitals open.
Budzinski says Medicaid is not wasteful or fat, but a lifeline for thousands of her constituents. The World Series gets going tomorrow. The Los Angeles Dodgers on the verge of being considered a modern-day baseball dynasty. Winning a third World Series title in 6 years would solidify that status, and it would be back-to-back. You know that there hasn't been a back-to-back world champion since 1999 when the Yankees did it. They won the year after that, too, 3 in a row. Since then, every single year has been a different world champion, but the Dodgers do have the second highest payroll in baseball. They would have the highest if Shohei Ohtani hadn't deferred 68 of his $70 million annual salary. That's right. I said $70 million a year for Shohei Ohtani. He takes 2 of that now and deferred 68. Otherwise, they would easily be the number 1 payroll in baseball. Dodgers and Blue Jays starting up tomorrow night in Toronto. Here's something else for Cardinals fans to consider. If the Dodgers win this, they will be at 9 world championships. That's just 2 behind the 11 that the Cardinals have accumulated through the years. The San Francisco Giants are hiring St. Louis native Tony Vitello as their manager for his first professional coaching job. He is coming from the University of Tennessee, where he won a national championship in 2024. It's a bit of a gamble by San Francisco executive Buster Posey on a coach with no previous experience in the pros, but the 47-year-old Vitello is well known around here. He was a player at DeSmet, at Mizzou, a coach at Mizzou. In fact, he was Max Scherzer's pitching coach, and he spent his entire career at the college level, guiding the Vols to their first NCAA title. Giants were .500 this past season under Bob Melvin. Posey calls Vitello, quote, one of the brightest, most innovative, and most respected coaches in college baseball today. Kurt Suzuki is the new manager of the Angels. He gets his first managerial job. There are still 6 openings, including the Padres. Albert Pujols interviewed with them yesterday. Blues hockey tonight, 7 o'clock face-off at Enterprise Center against the Utah Mammoth. Coach Jim Montgomery has not been pleased with the team's play in practice or in games, and he is shaking up the lines and defensive pairings for tonight. SLU will take on Bradley tonight in an exhibition game at Carver Arena in Peoria. Josh Schertz wanting to take his team on the road, go through that routine, also face a crowd and see what he can put together against a good team. Bradley, always good out of the Missouri Valley Conference, and Schertz would know. He went up against Brian Wardle many times as coach at Indiana State. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission, $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light. Keep it fun and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be. Silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show. Weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis. 104.1 FM. KMOX. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
6:20. Good morning to you. It is Thursday, October the 23rd. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Tom Ackerman and Roger Brand, who is in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center. And it's interesting. You can tell we've hit fall, Roger, because it's still very dark out there, and it's getting dark very early now.
Yeah, and it's you're right, and at least for the next couple of weeks, and then the first part of November, the clocks get turned back, so it'll get a little light again, I guess, in the morning. So that'll be nice. It's busy though. A lot of headlights out this time of day. It may be dark, but it's bright with the lights. In fact, a lot of brake lights on. Northbound 55 slow into 67. There's a right lane slowdown at Butler Hill, and we have a crash near Virginia. That's why it was busy there. It's actually stop-and-go pockets back near the Union Road overpass. This traffic report is the service of Metro Transit. The ramp from 55 on the North 270 also looks a little slow. Eastbound 70 pretty heavy and slow going from Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. East of there, you're in good shape. And on the Illinois side, just a little slow. Eastbound 64 at Greenmount. Next update at 6:30 from the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Metro Transit.
Looks like autumn has arrived, and all fall long, a Metro Transit Day Pass is still just $5, which makes you just one click away from your one-day mental health fall getaway. Plan your trip at metrostlouis.org.
We've actually dropped a degree. It's now 41 degrees. Sunrise at 7:18 this morning. No rain in the forecast, not till the weekend anyway. Sunny, cool today, high 64. Tonight, some frost in the coldest northern suburbs. Will be in the mid-30s. And then tomorrow, increasing cloudiness and cool. Could be a shower toward evening, a high of 61. Some rain here and there Saturday, Sunday. Otherwise, temperatures around 60 degrees. Currently, it's 41 downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:22. Happening overnight, Republican gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey shared that 4 members of his family were killed in a helicopter crash. We get more from CBS's Audrina Sinclair.
The state senator says his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 of his grandchildren all died yesterday in a helicopter accident in Montana. Now, in a statement, his campaign says that he and his wife, Cindy, are finding comfort in their faith, their family, and prayers from their supporters. Zachary and Kelsey Bailey died along with their 12-year-old daughter, Veda Rose, and 7-year-old son, Samuel. The couple's 3rd child, Finn, was not aboard the helicopter and is safe.
The circumstances of the helicopter crash are still unclear.
A mid-Missouri legislator is safe after a fiery highway crash over the weekend. Jeff Vernetti shares on Facebook that his car hydroplaned while trying to avoid a tractor-trailer that also hydroplaned in the rain on I-44 Saturday. He crashed into the center median and then attempted to drive the damaged vehicle to a safer spot some 10 miles down the highway. Once stopped again, the car burst into flames surrounding Vernetti. He got out of the totaled car uninjured, just sore. Vernetti grew up in St. Louis, graduated from Lafayette High School. We know him well, local sports talk radio host before moving to the Lake of the Ozarks to start a youth baseball facility. He represents Camden County District 123 in the Missouri House of Representatives.
Testimony began yesterday in the first-degree murder trial of former Illinois Sheriff's Deputy Sean Grayson, who shot and killed 36-year-old Sonia Massey in her kitchen in July of 2024. CBS's Anna Schechter reports that prosecutors are calling the evidence in the case overwhelming.
The case hinges on body camera video showing Grayson responding to Massey's 911 call about a possible prowler. Over the course of about 5 minutes, Grayson is seen entering her home, questioning her,
I would rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
And becoming angry.
No, I swear to God, I'll shoot you in your face.
Grayson's attorneys say the shooting was self-defense, that he felt threatened when Massey went to take a pot of boiling water off the stove. Shortly after, he shot her as she crouched down.
In Chicago, the deployment of troops onto city streets is blocked yet again.
The federal judge, who had already blocked the deployment of National Guard troops to the Chicago area for 2 weeks, has now extended that order indefinitely. Attorneys for the Trump administration say they'll agree to extend the order, but will keep pressing for an emergency order from the Supreme Court to allow troops. Lawyers representing the city and the state of Illinois have asked the High Court to block it, calling it a dramatic step.
That's CBS's Matt Piper.
The group Human Rights Watch, an international organization that investigates and reports on human rights abuses, is out with a report about ICE protests in the Chicago area. Belkis Willa with the group says they found that ICE agents used tear gas and pepper balls against protesters and others. She says it's shocking to see what's happening on streets of the United States.
I've worked with Human Rights Watch for the last 12 and a half years, almost exclusively in conflict zones. Over the last 2 years in places like Ukraine and Syria and Sudan and on Gaza. And it speaks volumes, the fact that, my colleagues and I from my team are now looking at the types of violations that we're seeing in the U.S. We take these extremely seriously. And indeed, the kind of excessive force tactics that we're seeing really do mirror, incidents that I've documented in places like Iraq.
Human Rights Watch says the Congressional Department of Human Services oversight committees should hold public hearings to examine agents' excessive use of force and should consider legislative remedies to strengthen oversight and accountability of immigration enforcement operations.
Here locally, Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway wants the sheriff to be removed from office because she believes he can't perform his duties behind bars. She has said the governor can appoint a new sheriff, but our legal expert Brad Young says it's not accurate.
Under statute, the sheriff's office vacancies is specifically listed as an office that the governor cannot fill. So that's why there's this gap, statutory gap here. And in the absence of that gap, there is a lot of ambiguity here, and the courts would have to step in.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery facing a new legal attack, this time from one of his employees at the heart of why his bond was revoked.
Former Director of Personnel and Fiscal Operations, Tanasha Saez, is suing the sheriff, alleging she was fired as retaliation for speaking to prosecutors involved in the quo warranto to remove him from office. She claims in her suit she was, quote unquote, ambushed by a hearing that she says turned into an interrogation on her employment status for allegedly shredding documents. Saez says she did not shred documents improperly, and she did so to prevent fraud and waste. While attorneys for Montgomery have maintained the committee who recommended her firing was comprised of 3 individuals, none of which were the sheriff, Saez claims 7 were in the room, including Sheriff Montgomery and his attorneys, Matt Gaio and David Mason, who led the hearing. Mason has maintained his role as both attorney for Sheriff Montgomery and at the head of this committee is not improper. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
It's 6:27. Time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
I have some information that I really think you need to hear, especially if you have someone in your family who may have dementia, because that is a very difficult thing to deal with, especially on your own. And you've heard me talking about EverTrue Anywhere Care. They're the trusted in-home caregivers for older adults, but they also specialize in dementia care. An EverTrue Guide is a free program that connects families with dementia care navigators. And if you would like to see if your loved one qualifies for care, just go to evertrueguide.org. EverTrue Guide, again, a free program that gets you experts who help you manage a dementia diagnosis at home with confidence. We're talking about caregiver education, 24/7 access to resources, training, and support groups. This is all designed to help your loved ones stay safely at home for as long as possible. Again, a dementia diagnosis brings on a lot of questions, a lot of stress, a lot of emotional moments, but you don't have to face them alone. Find out more about EverTrue Guide, the free program for dementia care, and to see if your loved one qualifies by calling 314-218-6661 or just visit evertrueguide.org.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I
I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
At 6:30, it's getting colder out there. 40 degrees with a clear sky downtown at the Arch. I'm Tom Ackerman.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, if you're driving in on northbound Highway 55, we've got that slow traffic approaching 67. It's a little busy past Highway A. The right lane's bogged down approaching Butler Hill up to Madison, and it's stop and go from the Union Road overpass all the way up to that crash we have in Virginia they're working with on northbound 55. So pretty tough at the north end there as you get into the city. Northbound 270, there's some volume now from Doherty Ferry up through Manchester, sort of pockets up through 64. It's kind of slow on the run there. Southbound 61, that's already slow from Highway P down through Wentzville Parkway, and 64 coming in through the Winghaven area is slow both sides of that. Eastbound 70 has that heavy traffic from Warrenton all the way into the Wright City Rest area and the construction zone there. And on the Illinois side, still a little heavy on eastbound 64 headed through the Greenmount Road area due to road work. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sunrise at 7:18. It'll be sunny but cool today, high 64. Clear to partly cloudy. Cold tonight, lows ranging from 33 with frost in the coldest northern suburbs to 41 downtown at the Arch. And then tomorrow, cloudy and cool. Could be a shower toward evening. A high of 61 degrees for Friday. Currently, it's clear, 40 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The grocery industry is recognizing Schnucks for how it's making groceries more accessible and helping other local businesses grow.
This award is not just for their community work, it's for their major push into tech. Progressive Grocer praised Schnucks for its autonomous inventory robots that scan the aisles looking for out-of-stock items, and its new smart carts that let you skip the checkout line altogether. The magazine also highlighted the Schnucks Springboard program, which brings local and diverse-owned startups into the fold with business classes, equity-free funding, and a chance for an in-store trial to get their products onto Schnucks shelves. It's this blend of high-tech and community focus combined with the aggressive growth strategy with a major acquisition in Wisconsin that earned Schnucks a spot with H-E-B and Wegmans as a 2025 super regional grocer. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
St. Louis County Animal Care and Control made another rescue of 30 dogs and a blind pony Tuesday night in Fenton.
Just hours after making a plea Tuesday for people to adopt or foster dogs so as to reduce the overcrowding at the shelter, County Executive Dr. Sam Page says the shelter was way over capacity with 173 dogs. Now there are over 200.
Many dogs in the shelter put at risk the spread of highly contagious disease, like the parvo outbreak we had earlier this year.
Page tried to make the case to the county council the shelter needs more funding to expand, but Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days doesn't appear to be allocating any money anytime soon.
Current shelter operations have not consistently reflected best practices in maintaining a healthy animal population. Our focus remains on improving those standards before expansion efforts are prioritized. It also might include hiring high-qualified staffing.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
It is now 6:33, and we are going to return with your money report. So stay with us here on Total Information AM. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Explore passion and romance as the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra performs two of the most exhilarating pieces in orchestral music. Violinist Nikolai Shep-Schneider showcases his virtuosity as he soars through Tchaikovsky's Violin Concerto. And music director Stefan Deneuve leads the SLSO in Rachmaninoff's breathtakingly beautiful Second Symphony. Experience this unforgettable performance November 1st and 2nd. Tickets available at slso.org.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th. So go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
It's 6:35. Your money report, sponsored by Eamon Ganner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon's trying to make it easier for drivers to find your front door. The company's testing augmented reality glasses that will help drivers find the right spot to drop a package. The device is designed to give turn-by-turn walking directions. Finding a porch can be easy in the suburbs, but drivers sometimes lose their way in apartment building complexes. Checking on your money this morning, stocks are holding steady after Wednesday's losses. S&P futures are little changed. Dow futures are down 50 points. Shares of IBM lower in pre-market trading after reporting disappointing revenue in two key software businesses. And the world's most popular dating platform will soon require all new users to verify their identity through a biometric face scan. Tinder will require daters to take a short video selfie to confirm they're physically present and that their face matches what's shown in their profile. The face check security measure will roll out nationwide in the coming months. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year, but any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is, in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable, and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months, and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or a delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Tonight, the NFL is on KMOX. The Chargers, the Vikings.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 6:30. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
We're going to be in football heaven on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:39. Traffic and weather on the way. A strong quarter for Stifel Financial. The St. Louis firm reported a more than 35% increase in net income compared to last quarter. Net revenue almost 17% higher than the same time last year, $1.4 billion. Stifel did lay off workers recently in the IT department as part of a restructuring, but says it recruited 33 new financial advisors. Stifel is the 11th largest public company in the St. Louis area, as ranked by 2024 revenue. That's according to the Business Journal. Job seekers feeling increasingly anxious. According to a survey by Top Resume, about 70% of respondents say they've been ghosted by employers, with 68% saying the job hunt is taking a toll on their mental health. While more job seekers are using AI tools to create their applications, 82% worry that those same algorithms are automatically rejecting their resumes. Another major stressor, scam artists taking advantage of desperate job hunters. About 60% say they've encountered at least one fake job post or recruiter via email, text, or phone call, or through sites like LinkedIn. It's 6:40, time for us to check traffic and weather for you. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. How are things looking?
Well, busy, especially on 55 right now, Debbie. This traffic report's a service of Age Smart Community Resources. If you're on northbound 55, first of all, down in Festus, you have that typical slowdown for a good half mile or so approaching 67. The right lane's bogged down south of Butler Hill up to 270. But then it's bumper to bumper pretty much the whole way from the Union Road overpass up to Virginia because of a crash in the area there on 55. In fact, crash may be actually southbound, northbound drivers looking at it. I just can't quite see it. There is a little bit of a southbound delay there, but it's all a jam on the northbound side. Northbound 270, Sappington Road overpass through Gravois is slow. North of Big Bend to Manchester, and then Clayton Road up to Ladue is busy along those stretches. Southbound 61 north of Highway P down to 64 is slow. Both sides of Winghaven, it's kind of busy. Little volume 94 to Research Park. Eastbound 70 still has that heavy traffic from Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. After that, there's just a little slowdown right around Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Downtown, westbound 44 at 55. We have a stall in the right lane. Traffic sort of slow into that area. And eastbound 64 is a little busy at Greenmount. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561, serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
It is 6:41, and if you were looking forward to fall weather, you've got it, but it's also going to be a little damp fall weather. We get the latest from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
Yeah, Debbie, we are going to have to talk about some wet weather here. Starting as early as late tomorrow, it's more likely tomorrow night and then through the weekend. Will it amount to very much? Probably not. We're talking a couple of tenths of an inch of rain. That's about it through Monday. Sunshine will dominate today. Our high about 64. So after this chilly start, it gets reasonably mild this afternoon. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy. And because much of the night will be relatively clear, it's going to get kind of cold. 41 downtown at the Arch. I think 30s in most suburbs. In fact, there may be some frost in the coldest spots to the north. Clouds increase tomorrow. Toward the end of the day, there is a risk for a very light shower, the high 61. A shower or two in the area Saturday, mostly cloudy, the high 61. Cloudy on Sunday. Again, it can be a couple of showers. Best chance probably south and west of the city, the high 57. And that threat of a shower continues into Monday with mostly cloudy skies and a high of 59. Right now, clear, 39 at St. Peter's, 43 in Florissant, and 45 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 6:42.
Even through the flames, even through the ashes in the sky, baby, when we dream,
that is Miley Cyrus.
As one.
Getting into the world of Avatar, the pop star recorded the song Dream as One, which will be featured in the end credits and soundtrack for the upcoming movie Avatar Fire and Ash. In a post online, Miley wrote, "Having been personally affected by fire and being rebuilt from the ashes, this project holds profound meaning for me." Bon Jovi hitting the road next year.
Bon Jovi has announced a 7-night summer tour. The Forever Tour kicks off in July 2026 with 4 nights at New York's Madison Square Garden before the band heads to Edinburgh, Scotland, Dublin, and wraps up in London on September 4th. It's the first tour since frontman John Bon Jovi underwent major vocal cord surgery. Jennifer Kuiper, CBS News.
From the KMOX archives, it was on this date 84 years ago. The Walt Disney animated feature Dumbo premiered in New York.
Did you ever see anything so cunning? Wasn't he a darling? Coochie, 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 coochie.
Dumbo is one of the shortest animated films ever made by Disney, with a running time of 64 minutes. It won an Academy Award for Best Music for its scoring in 1942. The voice of Mr. Stork was Sterling Holloway, who also voiced the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland. A jersey worn by baseball legend Lou Gehrig has fetched a huge price at auction.
The jersey worn by Major League Baseball's Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig, in his final appearance at Yankee Stadium, sold for a whopping $2.7 million at Christie's auction house Wednesday. That's the highest amount ever paid for a piece of Gehrig memorabilia. Gehrig wore the jersey during Game 2 of the 1939 World Series, though he was on the bench due to his ALS diagnosis, the disease that would later carry his name.
That is CBS's Jesse Mitchell reporting. Bill Siebold, a legendary powerboat racer and Granite City native, has died at the age of 84. He was honored in 2012, being elected to the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. KMOX's Ron Jacober filed this report when Siebold was inducted.
To call Bill Siebold the fastest man on the water is really an understatement. What we really call him is the greatest powerboat racer in sports history. A native of Granite City, Bill's father was a racer, so it came naturally. Bill won his first race at the ripe old age of 11 and continued from there.
Siebold's career included more than 900 race wins and more than 70 world and national championships. Always nice to hear Ron Jacober. It is 6:46.
It's easy to feel apprehensive about getting screened for cancer or to just keep putting it off. But Siteman Cancer Center wants to remind you how important it is, especially after the age of 40. And they also want you to know how easy it is to get it done. GetScreenedNow.com has all the information you need on cancers like prostate, breast, colon, lung cancer. You can also find out your risk of disease by answering just a few simple questions. And then you can find one of the hundreds of screening locations in the area. Even if you're a little farther out, there is probably a place near you. You have heard this before, but catching cancer early dramatically increases the odds of a successful treatment, especially with so many cancers showing up earlier in life. So do not be intimidated. Siteman will make the process as simple as possible. GetScreenedNow.com. Do it for your family and friends who count on you. Do it for yourself. Visit GetScreenedNow.com.
Tony Vitello is the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. Just a snapshot of what he has done so far in his career. Vitello is 47 years old, 23 seasons coaching at the NCAA level. This is the first college coach to make the jump to Major League Baseball manager with no prior professional experience. He is a St. Louis native. He went to DeSmet, then made his way to Mizzou, was a player there, and he has coached since 2002. In 2003, he became an assistant at Missouri, stayed there until 2010. Vitello was actually pitching coach for Max Scherzer, among others, an assistant at TCU in Arkansas before he got his first head coaching job, and it was at Tennessee. He coached the Vols since 2018, leading them to a national championship in 2024. 8 seasons there, 6 NCAA regional appearances, 5 super regional appearances, 3 College World Series appearances, and a national championship. He's produced 10 first-round draft picks, including St. Louis pitcher Liam Doyle, 42 total draft picks since 2021. He will be managing the San Francisco Giants. Tony Vitello moves from Tennessee to San Francisco. Albert Pujols interviewed with the San Diego Padres. We'll see what they do with their open job. And Kurt Suzuki is the new manager of the Angels. Blues hockey tonight, 7 o'clock face-off against the Utah Mammoth at Enterprise Center. Meanwhile, over in Peoria, Illinois, it will be SLU and Bradley. The Billikens playing an exhibition game tonight on the road at Carver Arena. The World Series starts up tomorrow. Blue Jays at home against the Dodgers. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
KMOX proudly supports the Mutual Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Mutual Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM. Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:50. Let's get over to Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We got a vehicle fire reported on Highway 370, Tom. This traffic report's a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. It's westbound near the Mills on the shoulder, so I don't see any delays through there right now. That's a good thing, I can tell you. Eastbound 70, you've got that slow stuff from Highway 47, Warrenton, most of the way into the Wright City Rest Area, a little busy approaching Highway A. If you're on southbound 61, Highway P down onto 64, kind of busy, and then it's slow from 364 past Winghaven. Northbound 270, busy from 55 all the way up to 44, but it's jammed from just north of 44 up to through Doherty Ferry. We have a crash just north of Doherty Ferry right now. Northbound 55, heavy into 67. Backed up from the Union Road overpass up to River de Pere. They cleared that crash up in Virginia, but it's still kind of slow there. Westbound 44 backed up from the Papa Street Bridge to 55. There's a stall in the right lane there, and eastbound 64 backed up through the Green Mountain Road work zone. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Looking at the forecast, we have sunshine today with a high of 64 degrees, and that is the sunniest, warmest day of this 5-day forecast because increasing cloudiness tomorrow. And then we just have showers in the forecast tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. 61 degrees tomorrow and Saturday, in the upper 50s for Sunday and Monday. Currently, it's 41 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 6:52. The long-running strike at Boeing hits a new snag, the conditions for returning to work. The Machinists Union today said it will not vote on Boeing's latest offer, calling it insulting. The union's main objection is a proposal that would allow managers to perform union work for 30 days and could see members who took other jobs terminated. Boeing says the 30-day period is for safety and recertification and that it will work with employees who can't return immediately.
A new designation on Missouri's driver's licenses aims to protect individuals who stutter or have other speech differences when they interact with law enforcement.
Missouri IDs now include a notation for people who have speech differences.
This could really apply to people who've had a stroke, people who've had Parkinson's, people with a traumatic brain injury, people with a developmental speech delay.
Christine Rose, a speech language pathologist at St. Louis University, says previously someone with speech differences used a separate card to alert law enforcement.
That in itself can be kind of alarming when they're looking for their card and things like that. They're reaching down, looking through their wallet. They're already in a moment of like high alert.
Rose joined the effort led by a SLU alumna whose teenage daughter stutters, which they feared could sometimes make her appear intoxicated. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Is your high-achieving student starting to show signs of stress this school year? KMOX spoke with an author who's written a book to help them cope.
They really want to do well, and sometimes they're perfectionists. So even when the rest of the world views them as doing well, they're still really hard on themselves.
School counselor Jennifer Lucati is an author of the book, My Anxiety is Messing Things Up. It tells the story of Oscar, who puts a lot on his shoulders.
You're not going to feel great all the time. That's just not the human existence. And bringing these emotions up so that children know that they're not alone in feeling anxiety.
The book includes suggestions for kids to help them cope, strategies like controlled breathing, exercise, and journaling. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
It is now 6:54, and CBS's Michael George is reporting on a beneficial side effect of a common weight loss medication.
The popular drug semaglutide used for weight loss may also help prevent heart attacks. A University College London study found the drug reduces the chance of heart attacks, strokes, and other cardiac events by 20%, regardless of how much weight a patient has lost. The study's author says this suggests you don't need a high BMI to get benefits from the drug.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
The birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. Happy birthday to the extraordinary Bridget May, who is 70 today. That's from Joyce. Ian Frobe is having a birthday. Sue Fry, happy 79th. That's from Michael. And also celebrating today, Philip Boyd and Brian Kruger.
The best birthday ever.
McKelvey Homes is 127 years old. They started in 1898. McKelvey Homes is Missouri's oldest home builder and the best. McKelvey Homes. Jim Brennan is the president of McKelvey Homes, and he tells us all the time how much he loves to give back to his community. And every time they sell a home, they give back $1,898 to a nonprofit. McKelvey Homes has home sites throughout the St. Louis area, beautiful homes. They are committed to the highest standards of excellence, quality craftsmanship, exceptional value. When you choose one of the thoughtfully designed communities from McKelvey Homes, or maybe you prefer a custom home on your own lot, McKelvey builds in the most sought-after locations where families truly want to live. They offer innovative home designs to suit every lifestyle. I have walked through these homes. They're amazing. And they provide personalized service to guide you through every step of the process. It's McKelvey Homes. You want to live in Afton, Chesterfield, Cottleville, Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, Ellisville, O'Fallon, Olivet, Rock Hill, St. Charles, St. Louis, Wildwood, just to name a few of the neighborhoods that McKelvey Homes is building. So all over. McKelveyHomes.com. Move up to McKelvey.
When you're injured on the job, you need more than just a workers' comp lawyer. When you need a fighter, you need us. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. For the people. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details. Tonight, the NFL is on KMOX. The Chargers, the Vikings.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 6:30. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. We're going to be in football heaven.
On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We do carry a lot of NFL on this radio station. Big game tonight, as always. 6:58. Roger Brand, what's going on out there? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, traffic's getting a little bigger on North 270, Tom. I mentioned that incident. It looked to me like a stall. All I can tell you is it's in the left lane. I can see the flashing lights. Police pulled up behind it. It's northbound 270, just north of Doherty Ferry. Left lane closed, so it's a solid jam at 44, but North 270 slow back at almost 55. So 55 to 44 slow and then jammed from 44 up just past Doherty Ferry because of that left lane being closed. Northbound 55 at 67 is a little busy. Barely a slowdown at Mattis. It's backed up from Union Road most of the way up to River to Pear. After that, not so bad. That earlier crash at Virginia, long gone. Eastbound 70 still a little busy east of 47 in Warrenton. Eastbound 64 from Prospect in through Winghaven, there's slow pockets. 70 eastbound from 64 into Lake St. Louis Boulevard is slow. Downtown westbound 44, we still have that stall at 55 in the right lane, backing traffic up across the Poplar Street Bridge. Next update is 710 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Thursday, October 23rd. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
Boeing accuses the Machinists Union leadership of refusing to let its members vote on the latest contract offer. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
A first for highly trained firefighters and for a man who works on high-wire broadcast towers. I'm Maria Aquino with their story.
I'm Sean Malone. More Missourians are turning to less traditional ways of borrowing money than banks. I'll tell you why coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. A cool but bright day today with an abundance of sunshine and a high of 64.
Big weekend of college football, the World Series, Blues hockey. There's a lot going on. Even the Billikens play tonight at Bradley. We'll have it all for you in 15 minutes. It's 7.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The White House entire East Wing is going away, and President Trump is taking flack for his new expanded plan that'll make room for a 90,000 square foot ballroom. Correspondent Weijia Jiang is there.
I think it's going to be something you're all going to be very proud of.
The 90,000 square foot ballroom, once finished, will be nearly double the size of the main White House building. The First Lady's office has already been demolished. A family theater and a gift shop will also be flattened.
Tourists on Pennsylvania Avenue have been weighing in.
It's a desecration, really, I think. I don't know that anybody particularly wants a big ballroom.
JFK had a swimming pool. So, he's adding his touch. And it's going to be beautiful when it's done.
California Governor Gavin Newsom speaking out over the president's plans to order Border Patrol agents to San Francisco. In an X post, Newsom claims the plan is designed to create chaos.
This is right out of the dictator's handbook. Donald Trump does this over and over again. He says he's going to send in the National Guard to address uncontrollable crime rates, which are fictitious.
San Francisco Chronicle's reporting about 100 federal agents are en route to the U.S. Coast Guard base in Alameda. New strikes on suspected drug boats from South America. This time they were taken out not in the Caribbean, but in the Pacific Ocean. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata reports from Washington. President Trump was top of mind at the final debate in the New York City mayoral race.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo said President Trump wants Democrat Zoran Mamdani to win so Trump can take over the city.
He has no respect for him. He thinks he's a kid and he's going to knock him on his tuchus.
Republican Curtis Sliwa said Jewish New Yorkers fear Mamdani.
They view you
as News.
Breaking news from Broadway.
You'll be back, time will tell.
King George will still have an orchestra accompanying him when the curtain rises on Hamilton and all the other musicals on the Great White Way tonight. The union that represents Broadway musicians has just announced it's reached a tentative labor agreement with producers that averts a threatened strike that would have silenced almost 24 shows. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Ooh, my.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
It is 7:04. It's clear, 40 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. A judge struck down the new law that allowed St. Louis County to create a land bank to deal with abandoned properties. A Cole County judge invalidated the law on Monday. County Executive Sam Page says the ruling is a setback for the county's year-long effort to fight neighborhood blight. He calls the news disappointing, but says he'll urge state lawmakers to pass a new bill. He'll also appoint a committee.
I plan to appoint a task force consisting of the current Land Bank Board to continue creating a framework for what our land bank will be, including focus areas on how to best get problem properties positioned for redevelopment.
It was backyard chickens that actually tanked St. Louis County's land bank. The judge's ruling also threatens the redevelopment of several major historic building projects. That's because lawmakers inserted into House Bill 2062 a provision overriding homeowners association restrictions on backyard chickens, which led to a lawsuit filed by a homeowners association. In ruling in their favor, the judge struck down the entire law, including the county's land bank and a provision designed to facilitate $1 billion worth of development in downtown St. Louis. Even if an appeal is successful, some developers say the unexpected delay will throw major deals off track.
Oh, how are we doing today?
How are you?
Oh, good. Pretty good. A little riled up.
Yeah, it's a story you very seldom hear about, a person climbing a broadcast tower. But that man right there, Stephen Garcia with Full Wave Tower and Broadcast, gives new meaning to being at the right place at the right time.
Stephen Garcia is a tower team technician doing maintenance on KSDK's television tower on Hee Road.
A young gentleman came up to the site and he walked right up to the base of the tower. He said he was here to work, and we were a bit confused as to who he was or where he came from. So I brought him to my foreman, and my foreman spoke with him and realized that this gentleman was not the new guy we were expecting.
And Stephen Garcia was not expecting what followed. It was too windy to paint, so they called it a day. As he was leaving, he sees in his rearview mirror movement on the tower, and that young man was now climbing the tower with bare feet.
I took it upon myself to try and stop him from getting any higher, because the higher he goes, the more complicated the rescue is going to be.
That's where the firefighters come in from Special Operations, Chief Ben Wasser.
3 went up, fully harnessed, and 2 other full units, which is 4 to 7 people, were on standby on the ground.
When the basket came down, it had the rescued man, the 3 firefighters, and Stephen Garcia. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Boeing is now publicly accusing the Machinists Union leadership of refusing to let its members vote on a new contract offer that could end the 12-week-long strike.
In a message sent directly to employees, the company detailed the revised 5-year deal that includes a $3,000 ratification bonus, another $3,000 in Boeing company stock, and improved wage growth for senior workers. Boeing says the offer was crafted with a federal mediator and could bring everybody back to work by next Tuesday. The union, though, is calling the proposal disrespectful and insulting. In a response to its members, IAM leadership said the offer contains no meaningful improvements to retirement or top-of-scale wages, which are their key priorities. The union also blasted a return-to-work agreement that it says would allow managers to perform union jobs for 30 days, calling the provision, quote, absolutely unacceptable. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. A strong quarter for Stifel Financial. The St. Louis firm reported a more than 35% increase in net income compared to last quarter. Net revenue is almost 17% higher than the same time last year, $1.4 billion. Stifel did lay off workers recently in the IT department as part of a restructuring, but says it recruited 33 new financial advisors. Stifel Financial is the 11th largest public company in the St. Louis area, as ranked by 2024 revenue, according to the Business Journal.
It is 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather, and then we've got news about a major improvement in downtown St. Louis and people improving their credit. It's Total Information AM.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I hear from sellers all the time that they fear they have missed out on the selling market. They are so relieved to learn September, October, and November are strong selling months. With low inventory and hopefully lower interest rates, this fall will be a hot one for real estate. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. You may have heard me say, why pay more than 4 for years? Now it's why pay more than 2, saving you even more money. Call me 314-441-4444. And remember, why pay more than 2?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri, Kansas, and Nevada.
This is Tom Becker with Climate Masters. We don't just sell air conditioners, we sell comfort. We sell solutions. We sell a job well done, and we fix bad jobs. Climate Masters, because you need someone you can trust. Someone who earns your respect and 5-star reviews. Climate Masters, selling high-quality Carrier air conditioners. Turn to the experts. Climate Masters, quality work for over 40 years. Just type in Climate Masters and give us a call.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
Some areas getting a little clogged up out there. Roger Brand, you're in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, Tom, you're right. And one of those spots is northbound 270 just north of Doherty Ferry. It looks like they have the 2 left lanes shut down now. It's a stall in the traffic lanes there. Northbound 270 is slow north of 55, but it's bumper to bumper pretty much from Gravois all the way up to that incident at Doherty Ferry. If you're on northbound 55, you've got to slow down. It's almost midway back to 61, headed up to 67 right now. Then there's slow traffic again from north of the Union or overpass all the way up to almost to Virginia, at least Holly Hills. Out west, eastbound 70 is slow from Lake St. Louis Boulevard in through Bryan Road. Southbound 61, a little busy at Wentzville Parkway to 64 to the Boulevard. It's heavy again east of Winghaven. Downtown, we have that stall. Westbound 44 at 55, the right lane is blocked. Now they're saying it's a crash. It was originally reported as a stall, but traffic's backed up onto the Poplar Street Bridge, and westbound 64 is pretty heavy back at 3rd Street. Eastbound 64 from 50 through Greenmount Road is also backed up in that construction zone. Next update is 720 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. KMOX AccuWeather, sunny but remaining cool today with a high of 64. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and rather cold. Will drop to 33 with frost in some of the coldest northern suburbs, 41 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, increasing clouds and cool, maybe a late day shower, high 61. Saturday, cloudy and cool, a shower or 2 in the area, high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Clear skies now, 40 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
It's 7:12. It's Total Information AM happening overnight. Republican gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey shared that 4 members of his family were killed in a helicopter crash. Here is CBS's Audrina Sinclair with the story.
State Senator says his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 of his grandchildren all died yesterday in a helicopter accident in Montana. Now, in a statement, his campaign says that he and his wife, Cindy, are finding comfort in their faith, their family, and prayers from their supporters. Zachary and Kelsey Bailey died along with their 12-year-old daughter, Veda Rose, and 7-year-old son, Samuel. The couple's 3rd child, Finn, was not aboard the helicopter and is safe.
The circumstances of the helicopter crash are still unclear.
Mid-Missouri legislator Jeff Vernetti is safe after a fiery crash on I-44 over the weekend. Vernetti says he hydroplaned while trying to avoid a tractor-trailer that was also hydroplaning. That caused him to crash into the center median. He drove his damaged car about another 10 miles before it burst into flames. Vernetti escaped the totaled vehicle uninjured. The former St. Louis sports talk radio host now represents Camden County in the Missouri House.
More Missourians with poor credit are turning to other options besides banks.
Liz Dykeman with the St. Louis Fed says a new credit report found around a third of Missourians have limited access to traditional credit, mostly due to no or subprime credit scores. So many of them are turning to non-traditional lenders instead. Dykeman says this can be problematic.
That could be payday lenders, financial technology apps, etc., which, of course, come with higher borrowing costs and other disadvantages.
Dykeman acknowledges that some of those non-traditional lenders do come with advantages, such as speed and availability. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A major overhaul in the works for one of St. Louis's postcard buildings.
It's in desperate need of a refurbishment. It's a postcard building. I mean, all the postcards of the Arch have this building in it.
Mansion House, who saw its first residents the year the Arch went up, is set to receive a $195 million redevelopment by St. Louis development firm New and Found. 415 units with a starting rent of $1,100 a month. Leasing expected to take place spring 2027. Steve Smith is the CEO and founder of New and Found.
We're putting our money where our mouth is. We have 150 people working this building. We're keeping those jobs downtown. We've had people say, why don't you move? We're not moving. So we're committed to downtown.
Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Tony Vitello is the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. The St. Louis native, DeSmet grad, Mizzou grad, former Mizzou coach, and since 2018, the head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, national champion in 2024, is the first person to go from college straight into Major League Baseball as a manager with no prior professional experience. But Buster Posey, the Giants executive, loves him, and the Giants are excited about the charismatic and magnetic, in many ways, Tony Vitello, who has drawn a lot of attention, a rising star in the business. We'll see if that translates into Major League Baseball as the Giants are going to try to tackle what has been a dominant performance by the Dodgers in the NL West. The Dodgers visit the Blue Jays tomorrow in Game 1 of the World Series. The San Diego Padres also trying to make some moves in the West. Mike Schilt stepped away from the job, retired not long ago, and yesterday Albert Pujols interviewed with the Padres for that open spot. 8 managerial positions were open. It's down to 6. Vitello gets the Giants job, and Kurt Suzuki has grabbed the job with the Angels. Sports gambling is officially coming to the college ranks with a twist.
The NCAA approved a rule change on Wednesday that will allow athletes and athletic department staff members to bet on professional sports. 2 weeks after the Division I cabinet approved the change, Division II and III management councils signed off on it, allowing the new rule to go into effect November 1st. This doesn't change the NCAA rule, which forbids athletes from betting on college sports. The NCAA also prohibits sharing information about college competitions with bettors. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
Now, for those of you who can bet on college sports, here are the spreads for the weekend. Missouri at Vanderbilt. What a game that's going to be. 2:30 kickoff on Saturday at 9 a.m. College game day will be live in Nashville. Missouri's a 2.5-point underdog. That line has moved from 3 down to 2.5. The Tigers on the road, 15th ranked team in the country at number 10, Vanderbilt. Number 23, Illinois is an underdog at Washington. That line has shrunk a little bit. It's down to 4 now. Washington, a 4-point favorite against the Illini. Same kickoff time, 2:30 on Saturday. Meanwhile, Missouri State beat New Mexico State last night in overtime. Bears are pretty good as they start to make their climb. They have joined Conference USA, moving out of the Missouri Valley Conference recently. Elsewhere in the NFL tonight, it's going to be the Vikings and the Chargers. We will have it for you on KMOX. The spread on that one is Chargers by 3. The Blues play tonight against the Utah Mammoth, and Coach Jim Montgomery is changing up the lines and the defensive pairings. We'll go through all of it for you at 7:45. The Billikens also play tonight. Interesting one here. This is their lone exhibition game, and they have chosen to play it on the road. Josh Schertz working out a deal with Brian Wardle at Bradley, and they are visiting Bradley tonight for his 7 o'clock tip-off. Should be a good crowd at Carver Arena. That's what Schertz is hoping for. He wants to have as much of a road environment as possible, going up to Peoria, getting off the bus, getting into Carver, playing a really good team against a tough crowd. I'm Tom Ackerman on the voice of the Billikens and the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on Octobr, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop.
Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM KMOX.
7:20, time to check in with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we still got our trouble on northbound 270. EMS is on the scene now. This is North 270 north of Doherty Ferry. Was reported as a stall initially, but I guess it's a crash. But the two left lanes are closed. North 270 slows you ramp on from 55, and it's bumper to bumper north of Tesson Ferry all the way up to the incident just north of Doherty Ferry. Northbound 55 midway up from 61 into 67 is slow in the work zone. It's backed up from Union Road to about Weber, but slow from there up through Loughborough. If you're on southbound 61, that looks okay. Eastbound 64, though, slow from Prospect into 364, the bogged down through Winghaven through the Chesterfield Parkways. Westbound 64 from McCausland out to Hanley's a little slow. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, you've got some heavy traffic from Lake St. Louis into Bryan Road, east of K through TR Hughes. A little busy at 270. Westbound 64 from the 70 split to the Poplars slow. Then it jams onto westbound 44 because of that stall in the right lane at 55, and eastbound 64, 50 through Greenmount is busy. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Weather forecast, Joe Lundberg says it's going to be a nice day today. Might feel a little cold right now, but today we're going to get up to 64. That sun will warm things up again. It'll remain cool, and it's actually going to get really cold tonight. Lows ranging from 33 with frost in the coldest northern suburbs, 41 downtown at the Arch. Then we get back to 61 tomorrow, although Joe says there could be a shower toward Friday evening. Right now, it's clear and 40 downtown at the Arch. Weather sponsored by Lion's Choice, where you can enjoy a quick and delicious meal, but make it healthy with plenty of low-cal, low-carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something to satisfy everyone on the Lion's Choice menu. Stop by today, Lion's Choice.
The news continues at 7:22. We are well into the school year now, and it may be taking a toll on some kids.
I do see it pretty often. I feel like these high-achieving students, they carry so much on their shoulders.
Jennifer Lucati is a school counselor and author of 9 books, including her latest called My Anxiety is Messing Things Up. It's a fictional work written for kids ages 9 to 14 to help them recognize the toll that stress takes on them and give them strategies to cope.
I love breath work because you always have your breath with you. You know, children can do deep breathing before they do a test. They could do it in front of other kids. They can do it alone.
She adds journaling and exercise are also great ways to cope with anxiety and stress. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
Sheriff Alfred Montgomery facing a new legal attack, this time from one of his employees, at the heart of why his bond is revoked.
Former Director of Personnel and Fiscal Operations, Tanasha Saez, is suing the sheriff, alleging she was fired as retaliation for speaking to prosecutors involved in the quo warranto to remove him from office. She claims in her suit she was, quote unquote, ambushed by a hearing that she says turned into an interrogation on her employment status for allegedly shredding documents. Saez says she did not shred documents improperly, and she did so to prevent fraud and waste. While attorneys for Montgomery have maintained the committee who recommended her firing was comprised of 3 individuals, none of which were the sheriff, Saez claims 7 were in the room, including Sheriff Montgomery and his attorneys, Matt Gaio and David Mason, who led the hearing. Mason has maintained his role as both attorney for Sheriff Montgomery and at the head of this committee is not improper. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Montgomery is still the acting sheriff of the city of St. Louis, even though he is behind bars right now. He has a trial date of November 18th in the quo warranto case against him. There is a lot of confusion over who could name his replacement if he resigns. We asked KMOX legal analyst Brad Young.
Generally speaking, vacancies for the office of sheriff are governed by state law, but it says that if the sheriff's office is vacant, then that vacancy shall be filled by a county commission. Well, St. Louis City is not in a county, and so there is no county commission. The closest thing we have to that would be the Board of Aldermen.
Young says the governor's office claims he has the power to appoint a replacement.
But specifically under state law, it allows the governor to fill all vacancies of elected officials when they're vacant, except for the sheriff. It's specifically listed in the statute as being an exception.
It's day 22 of the government shutdown. Republicans say Democrats should approve the continuing resolution spending bill. This as government employees are still going without paychecks, including air traffic controllers at airports. Texas Senator Ted Cruz is chair of the Senate Commerce Committee.
I filed legislation to pay the air traffic controllers, pay TSA, pay the essential air personnel so that the flights can keep going. But we'll see. I think we will vote on that either this week or next. We'll see what the Democrats do. My prediction is they'll end up voting no.
Without extension of the ACA tax credits, people's health insurance premiums will rise 114%. Metro East Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski says that's why Democrats have drawn a line in the sand when it comes to reopening the government.
In my district, about 14,000 constituents rely on the ACA tax credits to make ACA affordable. We'd like to see those extended. We want Republicans to address this manufactured healthcare crisis that I would argue is a lot of their own making.
Budzinski tells Chris and Amy Republicans' Medicaid cuts were not about efficiency and will have detrimental effects on families, children, and rural hospitals. She says Democrats want to negotiate, but Speaker Johnson won't call House members back to Washington.
It's 7:26, Total Information AM on KMOX. A mom, thanks to her, people who stutter or have other speech differences will now have a driver's license that speaks for them.
Well, my concern was that they would think she was intoxicated.
Jamie Saunders Anglin's teenage driving age daughter stutters, but when they went to get her an ID, discovered the state had no way to note that.
I've noticed when she speaks or is in the middle of a block, she looks away and looks down. So I didn't want the police officer to think that she was being disrespectful in any way.
Anglin is an alumna of SLU School of Social Work and enlisted the help of a SLU speech-language pathologist and others to work with the Missouri Department of Revenue to add the speech alert so officers and first responders will know someone has a speech difference. To add the notation, residents just have to submit a physician statement verifying the diagnosis. There's no additional fee. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It is 7:27 and the time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Not only does Gamma Tree Experts do a great job at homes like they did taking a tree out of our property, but they also do commercial tree service. If you own a business, consider Gamma Tree Experts commercial tree service. They maintain trees on commercial properties. Just a few examples of their customers: corporate grounds, apartment complexes, schools, churches, shopping centers, hotels, country club grounds. They all use Gamma Tree experts. The commercial tree service programs are designed for all season service, so they keep your grounds looking great 24/7. And in order to service your needs, they have the right equipment and trained staff. You absolutely want to go with Gamma Tree experts. They work within your budget and to your complete satisfaction. Let them protect your investment by providing a clearly stated tree care proposal, a scope of work, terms and conditions, and guaranteed pricing. These are people you want to work with for sure. Tim Gamma, Tom Gamma, and Gamma Tree experts. Now, if we're talking about you and your home, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, we use Gamma for everything when it comes to trees, and they've been doing it since 1954. We would go nowhere else than Gamma Tree experts. GammaTree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
R-E-N-N-E-R, R-E-N-N-E-R.
It is 7:30, and right now we've got sunshine in downtown St. Louis. It is 40 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
And I'm Tom Ackerman. We have traffic as well. Roger Brand, things getting any better? Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, they are for North 270 drivers, Tom. They cleared that crash we had at Doherty Ferry that was blocking the left lanes. Traffic is back open at that point. So if you're traveling north on 270, we still have backed up traffic. Don't mistake me. In fact, it's still bogged down at 55, and it jams at Tesson Ferry. But now the problem is it looks like we have a crash just north of 44. So there's a new problem there on northbound 270. I'm trying to see if I can see what lane is blocking. I can't. I can just see traffic at a standstill. It's right around the Marshall Road overpass. And even once you get past that point, it's still slow up through Manchester and around Ladue. South 270, 364 down to Ladue is busy. Northbound 55 still slow. North of 61 to 67. There's a slowdown approaching Rivas, and then Union Road up to River to Pear is jammed. Westbound 44, we still have this crash at 55. It was originally a stall. 44 is backed up past the Poplar, but the Poplar Street Bridge is backed up on the 64, which is back near 25th Street right now. Eastbound 64 jammed, 50 into Greenmount. Eastbound 64 on the Missouri side from southbound 61, which begins north of Wentzville Parkway, onto 64. It's slow, both sides of Winghaven. Clarkson to 141 and around the Interbelt. The Science Center out to Hanley. Westbound 64 is slow. Eastbound 70, approaching Lake St. Louis all the way into 79. The Blanchard into 270 is busy. Next update is 740 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, we got sunshine now. Enjoy it while it lasts because we won't have too much sunshine all the way through Monday. Today, sunny and 64. And then we could see frost overnight in the outlying suburbs, especially northern suburbs. But then we get the clouds moving in tomorrow, and we're looking at a possibility of a shower tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday. Right now, it's sunny and 40 degrees downtown.
It's 7:32. St. Louis County Executive Sam Page is trying to block prosecutors from using certain evidence against him.
Page's attorneys are filing a motion to block prosecutors from using his cell phone against him in his criminal trial. Their argument, the judge who granted the warrant was misled. Page's attorney, Matthew Ratterfield.
There are, statements that are, misstatements. There are omissions that are on here
that weren't told to the judge, and they should be.
Radfield argues probable cause would not be given if the information was properly presented. Part of that information, the assistant county counselor approved the language used in the Proposition B flyer the county sent out at the heart of the criminal case. This information is also a part of their motion to dismiss. If that fails, they are requesting a speedy trial, hoping to have one no later than April to avoid the case dragging into Page's potential re-election campaign. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The grocery industry taking notice of Schnucks high-tech upgrades and their northward expansion.
From robots in the aisles to checkout-free shopping carts, the trade magazine Progressive Grocer is recognizing Schnucks as one of the nation's top regional operators, specifically for its tech-driven progress. The report highlights how Schnucks became the first U.S. grocer to roll out electronic shelf labels chain-wide. It also points to the new smart carts that let you scan items and pay without ever going through a checkout line, as well as the autonomous inventory robots that roam the aisles checking stock. Beyond tech, the publication praises Schnucks for its Springboard Startup Accelerator program, which provides classes and funding to help local and diverse-owned businesses get their products onto store shelves. Schnucks is in good company. The others recognized are Giant Eagle of Pittsburgh, H-E-B of Texas, and Wegmans of the Northeast. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. We'll check your money report next.
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-536-9607. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-536-9607 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-536-9607 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-536-9607.
It is 7:35. This is Total Information AM, and it's time to bring you your money report. It's sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is the Bloomberg Money Minute. Amazon's trying to make it easier for drivers to find your front door. The company's testing augmented reality glasses that will help drivers find the right spot to drop a package. The device is designed to give turn-by-turn walking directions. Finding a porch can be easy in the suburbs, but drivers sometimes lose their way in apartment building complexes. Checking on your money this morning, stocks are holding steady after Wednesday's losses. S&P futures are little changed. Dow futures are down 50 points. Shares of IBM lower in pre-market trading after reporting disappointing revenue in two key software businesses. And the world's most popular dating platform will soon require all new users to verify their identity through a biometric face scan. Tinder will require daters to take a short video selfie to confirm they're physically present and that their face matches what's shown in their profile. The face check security measure will roll out nationwide in the coming months. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the take care of my family goal. This is the enjoy the life I've built goal. This is the set up a foundation goal. This is Busey, where your goals become lasting legacies. Through bespoke plans that maximize your wealth, through partnerships that give you peace of mind. Because building wealth, tending to it, and passing it down secures a brighter future. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer, Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind. Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's. $5 Eddie's? Now, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie's? Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5. Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 buck going on in there. And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again. Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on. Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time. Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio. Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine. Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies? Only Eddie boy.
Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, yourEyeDoc.com. Been talking about them for a long time, been going to them for a while. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bursati, Andy Royer. The eye doctors at Ophthalmology Associates are the best. They are the specialists in their field. They have over 250 doctors seeing them as patients, and that's why they are known as the doctors. Ophthalmology Associates, expertise, knowledge, experience, providing outstanding service and care, innovative solutions for complex cases. Meet your local St. Louis area eye doctors at Ophthalmology Associates by going to yourEyeDoc.com. You can see their pictures. You can click on them right there and read their bios, learn all about them at Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000, online at yourEyeDoc.com. Mention me, Tom Ackerman, when you make your eye exam. That's Ophthalmology Associates.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Hey Dave, it's Tamara, the flavor temptress, and your good friend from Clementine's Ice Cream. I just wanted to say congratulations on 25 years. Not only are you the sexiest man in daytime radio, but you're probably the only man with the best looking feet. Here's to the next 25. Cheers to you, my friend.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
7:40 and time for traffic and weather on this sunny Thursday morning. Let's check in with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, pretty busy out there. This is the peak time, obviously, W for rush hour. This traffic reports and service at Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. Eastbound 70, a little slow, coming through Highway Z from Lake St. Louis all the way into 79, from 94 most of the way into the Rock Road. Southbound 61, Wentworth Parkway onto 64, just slow. Backed up through Wing Haven. It's east of Boone's Crossing, but it goes all the way to 141. A couple of spots around Ballas and approaching McKnight. Not that bad after that, really. East of 270, southbound 170, Olive down to Ladue is slow. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley's heavy. South 270 bogs down, approaching 364 to Ladue. North 270 jam north of 55 to Gravois. Then it's just slow all the way up to Ladue. The crash we had north of 44 is gone. North 55 delays into 67 through A. From south of Rivas up through River to Pear through Loughborough. And we still have this crash downtown, westbound 44 at 55. 44 is backed up almost to the Dome, and 64 is backed up past 25th Street to the Poplar. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Nice and chilly out there. Looks like we're going to get really cold tonight, actually.
Yeah, tonight's probably the coldest night to Tom, with the clear skies much of the night, light winds, and only getting to about 64 today. It should easily drop through the 40s tonight, probably low 40s downtown at the Arch, and many suburbs in the 30s where there's even a risk for some frost. Now, tomorrow, clouds will be on the increase. It'll be cool with a high just 61, and eventually there's probably going to be a couple of showers. If not late tomorrow, most certainly tomorrow night and into the day on Saturday. Nothing of consequence, just kind of moisten things up a bit. The high Saturday with clouds about 61. We stay in the 50s Sunday, mostly clouding again. Could be a couple of showers nearby, especially to our south and west. Monday, mostly cloudy, a good chance for a shower with a high of 59. Right now, it's a very chilly 39 at St. Peter's, 43 in Florissant, clear, and 45 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is 7:43. The costs are expected now to rise to $300 million, and the size of the project is becoming clearer. The east wing of the White House is being demolished to make room for President Trump's ballroom project that many critics say will overwhelm the size of the White House itself. CBS News White House correspondent Weijia Zhang.
The demolition has taken many by surprise after Trump said this in July.
It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it, but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite.
The First Lady's office has already been demolished. A family theater and a gift shop will also be flattened. In a new letter to the Trump administration, the National Trust for Historic Preservation wrote that the addition will overwhelm the White House itself and urged officials to pause the demolition until the plans have been reviewed by the National Capital Planning Commission.
Some of the biggest corporations in the U.S., many doing business with the government, are on a donor list obtained by CBS News.
Britain's King Charles and Pope Leo have attended a prayer service in the Sistine Chapel in a show of religious unity during a state visit to the Vatican. It's the first time the heads of the Catholic Church and the Church of England have joined in prayer since Henry VIII broke away from Rome almost 500 years ago. We get more from the BBC's Mark Lowen.
This is not, of course, Charles's first visit to the Vatican. He, as Prince of Wales, visited the Holy See 5 times. His mother, as Queen Elizabeth II, came for a state visit in the year 2000, but we understand back then her desire to pray together with the then Pope John Paul II, well, those plans were dropped over concerns that would upset factions within the Church of England.
The NFL commissioner is sticking with Bad Bunny.
Conservatives, including President Trump, have given bad reviews of the NFL's choice of Bad Bunny to headline the Super Bowl halftime show. But Commissioner Roger Goodell indicates there's been no reconsideration of the choice.
I'm not sure we've ever selected an artist where we didn't have some blowback or criticism. Pretty hard to do when you have literally hundreds of millions of people that are watching.
Bad Bunny, one of the most streamed artists around the world, has been a vocal critic of President Trump. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
We have the NFL tonight. The Vikings and the Chargers will go at it. That broadcast begins at 6:30. Biggest story in sports yesterday, no doubt about it. Tony Vitello, the St. Louisan, going to San Francisco. He is the new manager of the San Francisco Giants. That's a discussion they had on the MLB Network. Let's take a listen to Sean Casey.
He's a great communicator. And if you know him, if you're around Tony, when you leave that conversation, you go, man, he just gave me some energy.
Yeah.
He just gave me something. He kind of reminds me of like a Terry Francona. I played for Tito in 2008. Tito's one of those guys. He's a master communicator. He's going to go around. Everyone's going to know their role. And Tony's one of those guys that I really think is going to do well as a big league manager. And look at Pat Murphy.
Yeah.
Pat Murph for all those years was in college baseball. Then all of a sudden, he's the manager of the year in 2024.
That coming from MLB Network yesterday, the discussion about Tony Vitello, who is the new manager of the Giants. World champion Giants for many years have taken a step back. Now they hire a national champion from Tennessee. 2024 was when he led the Volunteers to that championship. Vitello is the first to ever go from college straight into Major League Baseball as a manager, having never had professional experience. DeSmet grad, Mizzou coach, and most recently head coach of the Tennessee Volunteers. College football this weekend in Tennessee will be Mizzou. They're visiting Vanderbilt for a 2:30 kickoff on Saturday. Illinois will be at Washington at 2:30. Big news out of the NBA. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups has been arrested in a sports betting probe. The head coach of the Trailblazers was arrested. We will have much more from CBS at the top of the hour. College basketball tonight, 7 o'clock tip-off for the Billikens. They visit Bradley. It's an exhibition game for Josh Schertz and crew, the only one they'll play, and they'll do it on the road at Carver Arena in Peoria. The Blues play tonight at home. They have the Utah Mammoth. That one is a 7 o'clock face-off at Enterprise Center. I'm Tom Ackerman on the Voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Last month, my business cash flow got tight. Sales were slow. Invoices were late. And payroll was coming fast. My business is everything, and people rely on me. I can't let them down. I applied online at lendseek.com and had business funding in 24 hours.
Business moves fast. Don't wait until it's too late. Whether it's lines of credit, term loans, working capital funding, or revenue-based financing, LendSeek is open for business. Apply now at lendseek.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hey, St. Louis, the MLS Next Pro playoffs are here. Join us at Energizer Park as number 1 seed St. Louis City 2 continue their run for the MLS Next Pro Cup. See the future of City SC soccer when City 2 take on Minnesota United 2 in the Western Conference semifinals this Sunday, October 26th at 5 p.m. Face painting, player autographs, and fun for the whole family. Tickets are only $16. Get yours now at stlcitysc.com/tickets.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, kingmox.com/events.
Debbie Monterrey, Megan Lynch, Tom Ackerman, Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
This sports betting probe that has taken place, a law enforcement source telling CBS there are numerous arrests across the country. The most jarring one, I would say, was the one we talked about. Trailblazers coach Chauncey Billups arrested in Portland. Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat was arrested in Miami. This is in connection stemming from illegal sports betting charges. More from CBS at the top of the hour. Right now, Roger Brand, a lot going on out there, overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, you're right, Tom. We got a couple of problems on westbound 270 right now. First of all, there's a crash westbound 270 blocking a lane just before you get to the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Traffic's a solid jam at Route 3. And then on the Missouri side, report of that the pavement has come up and some vehicles have, I guess, maybe hit a pothole. I don't know. I can't quite tell. I can see the 3 vehicles in the left lane and one on the right shoulder. It's westbound 270 at 367. Eastbound Highway 70 has slow traffic from Lake St. Louis all the way into 79, 94 into the Rock Road, kind of slow. South 270, 364 to Ladue is busy. Southbound 61 approaching Wensville Parkway onto 64. It's a little slow at Winghaven at Research Park. Annie Guns all the way to 141, and then east of 270 most of the way through toward McKnight. Southbound 170, Olive down to Del Mar's heavy. Westbound 64, Science Center to Hanley busy. North 270, stop and go pockets north of 55 through 44. Then it's slow all the way to Ladue. 55 delays, a big backup Union Road up to River to Pear. Westbound 44 at 55, still had that right lane closed. 44 is backed up to the Dome. 64 is backed up to 25th Street on the Illinois side. Next update is 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We have tons of sunshine today with a high of 64 degrees and the possibility of some frost overnight, especially in the northern suburbs. But then we have clouds moving in, and we have a chance of a shower or two with us tomorrow through Monday. Tomorrow 61, Saturday 61, upper 50s, Sunday and Monday. Right now it's sunny and 40 downtown.
The news continues at 7:52. St. Louis County Animal Care and Control made another rescue of 30 dogs and a blind pony Tuesday night in Fenton.
Just hours after making a plea Tuesday for people to adopt or foster dogs so as to reduce the overcrowding at the shelter, County Executive Dr. Sam Page says the shelter was way over capacity with 173 dogs. Now there are over 200.
Many dogs in the shelter put at risk the spread of highly contagious disease.
like the parvo outbreak we had earlier this year.
Page tried to make the case to the county council the shelter needs more funding to expand, but Chairwoman Rita Hurd Days doesn't appear to be allocating any money anytime soon.
Current shelter operations have not consistently reflected best practices in maintaining a healthy animal population. Our focus remains on improving those standards before expansion efforts are prioritized. It also might include hiring high-qualified staffing.
Maria Kina, KMOX News.
Boeing is accusing the machinists union of blocking a vote on a revised contract offer that the company says could end the 12-week-old strike. In a message to striking workers, Boeing detailed its latest offer, which includes thousands of dollars in bonuses and stock, but the union is calling that offer disrespectful, saying it has no meaningful improvements and includes an unacceptable return-to-work agreement that would let managers perform their jobs for 30 days.
The U.S. national debt has hit a new milestone. CBS's Jesse Mitchell reports.
The U.S. gross national debt has surpassed $38 trillion for the first time ever, according to Treasury Department data. This as the federal government shutdown is now the second longest in U.S. history, spanning into day 23. Government shutdowns can boost the national debt because they delay economic activity and postpone fiscal decisions.
A recent survey from the nonpartisan Peterson Foundation showed that 81% of voters believe the national debt is an issue of concern.
More than half of Republicans and Democrats surveyed expect to be reliant on Social Security benefits when they retire. But 76% are concerned those benefits won't be available to them when they need it. That's according to a new Bankrate survey that shows the closer to retirement a person is, the more reliant they expect to be on Social Security. Nearly 4 in 5 current retirees say they are reliant on Social Security to pay for necessary expenses.
Let's go back to the arrests of Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier and Portland Trail Blazers head coach is on condition of anonymity because they can't discuss details of the investigation publicly. One of these people also told the AP of Billup's arrest. The NBA had no immediate comment. The league has investigated Rozier previously and is still looking into the actions of former Detroit player Malik Beasley. Rozier was in uniform as the Heat played the Magic in Orlando last night, although he did not play in the game. He was taken into custody early this morning in Orlando. A message was left with Rozier's lawyer, Jim Trusty, who previously told ESPN that Rozier was told that an initial investigation determined he did nothing wrong. FBI Director Kash Patel and other sports betting. It's 7:56, 2 minutes away from traffic.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
Genesis of St. Charles. Genesis of St. Charles is absolutely the place to buy a new car. You ever driven by that on I-70? You have many times. It's the 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway, just right next to Mid-Rivers Mall Drive. It's right there. I am highly encouraging you to walk in there and check it out for yourself. Best car dealership I've ever walked into. Very relaxing. It's kind of like walking into a lounge of a high-end hotel, and you'll be greeted by not only those beautiful cars, but some great people. Shay is their general manager. Tell them I said hi. Genesis of St. Charles will show you around, and they will show you great deals, wonderful offers for the month of October. This month only. Get 0% APR for up to 60 months on all new Genesis models in stock, all of them on approved credit. See dealer for details. Now, this offer absolutely ends October 31st, so get in there. Today is October 23rd. If you want to trade, they are offering more for your pre-owned vehicle than ever before. It's a great time to buy a Genesis, and every purchase comes with all of that luxurious service like complimentary valet. Get started at genesisofstcharles.com or get in there. Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, Genesis of St. Charles.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer, an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Hey, Dave, this is Susan L. Ward, and my law firm and I want to wish you congratulations on your 25 years with the show. I am really, really glad that you left family law practice to me, and here's to 25 more for you on radio.
The Woodlands of Arnold campus offers skilled rehab, a beautiful assisted living community, and a secure memory care to keep your loved ones safe. Check us out at rspseniorliving.com. That's rspseniorliving.com.
Let's check in with Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, we got trouble in North County, Madison County, too. Westbound 270, there's a crash before the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Traffic is slow at 203 and jammed at Route 3 up to that point. It is originally, it was reported as a piece of pavement came up. I saw it looks like a chunk of concrete in the roadway. I saw the county police officer remove it, but now he's saying there's a 1-foot deep hole roughly. So that is a roadway damage in that left lane, westbound 270 at 367. That left lane's closed. 3 cars in the left lane and 3 more on the right shoulder all hit that, and I guess all have flat tires, so it's going to be an issue for a while there. If you're on eastbound Highway 70, Lake St. Louis into 79, 94 into 270 around the Lindbergh-Cypress area, it's a little busy. If you're on southbound 61, Wentzville Parkway down onto 64 at the Boulevard, it's still slow. Boone's Crossing to about almost Mason, and it's heavy in spots east of Lindbergh through the Interbelt. South 270 approaching 364 to Ladue, slow. North 270 is busy. North of 55 jams. Approaching Gravelwood at 44, busy all the way up to Ladue. And downtown westbound 64 delays from 25th Street across the Poplar. From the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. We begin in Washington and the growing outcry over the president's new plan to completely destroy a massive section of the White House to make room for a 90,000 square foot ballroom.
President Trump confirms the east wing of the White House is being torn down.
In order to do it properly, we had to take down the existing structure.
The president also threw out a new number on the cost.
It's about $300 million.
The original number was around $230 million, but Trump says the American people aren't paying for any of it.
It's being paid for 100% by me and some friends of mine, donors.
Rejecting allegations that he has been anything but transparent about the size and scope of the project, including the details about the demolition. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Breaking news now. A law enforcement source tells CBS News arrests are taking place across the country as we speak in connection with a federal grand jury investigation into illegal sports betting. Among the suspects in custody, Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. We're expecting more details from FBI Director Kash Patel next hour. The Trump administration says U.S. strikes have blown up 2 more drug boats. Unlike previous hits, these were not in the Caribbean. Correspondent Charlie D'Agata.
These are the first 2 strikes announced in the Pacific, totaling 9 known strikes in less than 2 months. 1 boat was taken out in the eastern Pacific Ocean, the other off the coast of Colombia.
President Trump claims cartels are responding by slowing down their water operations. A groundbreaking moment at the Vatican. King Charles and Pope Leo prayed together in the Sistine Chapel today, something his mother, the late Queen Elizabeth, wanted to do decades ago. The BBC's Mark Blowen.
Back then, her desire to pray together with the then Pope John Paul II, well, those plans were dropped over concerns that would upset factions within the Church of England.
The last time it happened, before King Henry VIII broke with the Catholic Church so he could divorce and remarry. A jersey worn by a baseball great has sold for millions.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Lou Gehrig's number 4 brought in $2.7 million at auction at Christie's. CBS's Jesse Mitchell.
That's the highest amount ever paid for a piece of Gehrig memorabilia. Gehrig wore the jersey during Game 2 of the 1939 World Series, though he was on the bench due to his ALS diagnosis, the disease that would later carry his name.
This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
At 8:03, we have sunny skies, 39 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is not sponsored this hour. Today is Thursday, October 22nd, 23rd. I'm Megan Lynch. Happening overnight, Republican gubernatorial candidate Darren Bailey shared that 4 members of his family were killed in a helicopter crash. CBS's Audrina Sinclair reports.
The state senator says his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 of his grandchildren all died yesterday in a helicopter accident in Montana. Now, in a statement, his campaign says that he and his wife, Cindy, are finding comfort in their faith, their family, and prayers from their supporters. Zachary and Kelsey Bailey died along with their 12-year-old daughter, Veda Rose, and 7-year-old son, Samuel. The couple's 3rd child, Finn, was not aboard the helicopter and is safe.
A 1-year-old shot in the leg last night, the child in stable condition. Police say they don't know where it happened because the child was in a car when hit, then taken to a hospital. This man was at the right place at the right time to rescue someone trying to climb a TV tower in Afton.
Stephen Garcia is a tower team technician doing maintenance on KSDK's television tower on Higgy Road.
A young gentleman came up to the site and he walked right up to the base of the tower. He said he was here to work, and we were a bit confused as to who he was or where he came from. So I brought him to my foreman, and my foreman spoke with him and realized that this gentleman was not the new guy we were expecting.
And Stephen Garcia was not expecting what followed. It was too windy to paint, so they called it a day. As he was leaving, he sees in his rearview mirror movement on the tower, and that young man was now climbing the tower with bare feet.
I took it upon myself to try and stop him from getting any higher, because the higher he goes, the more complicated the rescue is going to be.
That's where the firefighters come in from Special Operations. Chief Ben Wasser.
3 went up fully harnessed, and 2 other full units, which is 4 to 7 people, were on standby on the ground.
When the basket came down, it had the rescued man, the 3 firefighters, and Stephen Garcia. Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
A judge struck down the new law that allowed St. Louis County to create a land bank to deal with abandoned properties. A Cole County judge invalidated the law Monday. County Executive Sam Page says the ruling is a setback for the county's years-long effort to fight neighborhood blight. He calls the news disappointing, but says he'll urge state lawmakers to pass a new bill. He'll also appoint a committee.
I plan to appoint a task force consisting of the current land bank board to continue creating a framework for what our land bank will be, including focus areas on how to best get problem properties positioned for redevelopment.
We'll talk more about that with Dr. Page coming up at 8:41 this morning here on Total Information AM. Even after 2 days with a federal mediator, the strike at Boeing appears no closer to an end.
The 2 sides are now publicly feuding over the conditions for returning to work. The Machinists Union says it will not vote on Boeing's latest offer, in large part due to what it calls an unacceptable return to work agreement. The union claims the proposal would allow managers to perform their jobs for 30 days and would terminate members who took other jobs to support their families during the 79-day strike. Boeing fired back with its own explanation, saying the 30-day period is necessary for a safe and orderly recertification process for thousands of employees. The company also says it has offered to work in good faith with any employee who has unavoidable circumstances preventing an immediate return. The dispute over the return to work terms comes on top of ongoing disagreements over wages and bonuses, with both sides remaining far apart. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Billy, oh, look out, Billy. He just barrel rolls it down there in corner number 2.
Unbelievable. Bill Siebold, the veteran, had to have had something.
Bill Siebold, the most successful closed-course powerboat racer in history and a Granite City native, has died. A titan of outboard racing, Siebold's career included more than 900 race wins and more than 70 world and national championships. He also revolutionized the sport with his tunnel hulls, which dominated racing for decades. Siebold was 84. From the business desk, sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, a strong quarter for Stifel Financial. The St. Louis firm reported a more than 35% increase in net income compared to last quarter. Net revenue almost 70% higher than the same time last year, $1.4 billion. We'll get a check of the roads and your weather forecast for the upcoming weekend in 2 minutes. It's 8:08.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. Auto repair bills are through the roof. $3,000 to replace the transmission. $4,000 for a blown engine. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all out of pocket. You need an Endurance Auto Protection Plan. No matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, drivetrain, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done at the certified mechanic of your choice, and they're paid directly with no middleman. Plans cover 24/7 roadside assistance, towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, lockout services, and a 30-day money-back guarantee. Act now and get our elite benefits, including complete tire care and key fob replacement. A $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again, so call now for your free quote. Call 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124. 800-458-3124.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Hi, Stacy with Fairwinds Rivers Edge Senior Living in St. Charles. Are you a senior seeking a fun retirement? Do you want less work and more play? Do you want to enjoy great food that you don't have to cook? Then I know. Stop what you're doing right now and call Fairwinds. Set up a time to visit and have a meal. Meet some of our awesome residents. Check us out online at fairwindsriversedge.com. We hope to talk with you soon.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
8:10. It looks like we still have plenty of slowdowns out there on the roads. Let's get the latest from Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, we got trouble in North and Madison County where we don't normally see issues, Megan. Right now, westbound 270, they're still working that crash before the Chain Rocks Bridge. A lane is shut down there, and westbound 270 is a solid jam at 203. And on the Missouri side, they've shut down the two left lanes now. A piece of the pavement came up westbound 270 before 367. They're guesstimating just at a look, maybe a foot deep, but it caused at least 6 flat tires. 3 of the vehicles still in the left lane, 3 others on the right shoulder. So traffic's backed up there. And like I said, only the right lane is open now there. Eastbound Highway 70 from Bryan Road into 79, still a little busy at 270 and around Cypress. 64 Lake St. Louis Boulevard's heavy. Annie Guns to about Timberlake, and there's slow stuff east of 270 through the Interbelt. South 270, 364 to Ladue slow. Still backed up north 270 from Tessa on Ferry to 44, and then it's slow all the way up to Ladue. Northbound 55. Approaching 67, Union Road up to River to Pear heavy. Downtown, we've had trouble all morning. A stall and then a crash. Westbound 44 at 55. Right lane blocked. 44 is backed up to the Dome, and 64 is jammed at 25th Street. And if you're on eastbound 64, it's backed up Route 50 through Greenmont Road due to road work there. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, sunny but remaining cool today with a high of 64. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and rather cold. Will drop to 33 with frost in some of the coldest northern suburbs, 41 downtown at the Arch. Tomorrow, increasing clouds and cool, maybe a late day shower, high 61. Saturday, cloudy and cool, a shower or two in the area, high 61. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Currently, we do have sunny skies, 40 degrees in Florissant, 38 in St. Peter's, 39 downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A federal database that tracked the cost of extreme weather back up and running under a nonprofit group. That group, Climate Central, says disasters across the United States caused more than $100 billion in damage just in the first 6 months of the year. It's the most expensive start to any year on record. With me now, Dr. Leah Rachel Kosnick, professor and department chair of the Department of Economics at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Dr. Kosnick, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Thank you for having me on.
Let's start with your overall reaction to these findings. Does this surprise you in any way?
I'm not surprised at all that the cost of cleanup from tornadoes, wildfires, or other sorts of crises like that is going up. Unfortunately, and it's not just inflation, there's other reasons, but I'm not actually surprised the costs are going up.
Why is that? I know this is something that you have studied extensively.
Well, there's two primary reasons that it's going up. One is climate change, of course, is leading to a lot of extreme weather events, and the extreme weather events cause these hurricanes and tornadoes and the costs that come from them. But the other thing is actually that we still, unfortunately, are building homes in places that are susceptible to these extreme weather events. So we still are building homes in floodplains in Florida, and we're still building homes where there's wildfires in California. And so we're not always making the best choices with where we build. And also there are just more extreme weather events. And so together, these things are really leading to increases in events and costs.
Is inflation giving another hit right now because of this?
I mean, it's certainly not helping. So it could be a small part of it. But I think the bigger issue is just that there are more events happening, and we have too much infrastructure and businesses and homes in the pathway of a lot of these.
Of course, we've seen some of that damage here in St. Louis. And one of the things that's been brought up by the White House is the potential of shifting some of the cost of disasters from the federal government to states. What would that do?
Well, it's interesting because as an economist, I have conflicting thoughts about this. So first, in economics, one of sort of our basic principles is that disaggregated decision-making is better. So the idea is you'd rather have people like at the state level on the ground who know exactly where the damage is and what needs to be fixed, making the decision on like where recovery funds should go. They would have more information than people at the federal level or far away. So on some level, switching decision-making to the state level makes sense. However, shifting the cost is I'm a little more concerned by that. So state governments have less money, and so they're less able to pay for all this. There's, the federal government paying for a lot of cost recovery is like an insurance fund. And we'd rather have insurance rather than individually every homeowner being on their own or every state being on their own. So, there's pluses and minuses to shifting things to the states. There's both.
When it comes to areas that are hit that might be disadvantaged areas, if those costs are shifted to states or local communities, what greater burden does that put on them?
You bring up an excellent point that wherever the recovery funding is coming from, one of the issues is that we are all equally at risk on some level of being affected by a tornado or a wildlife or other sorts of crises, but we are not all equally able to recover from them. So when a tornado hits, unfortunately, in St. Louis as well as more broadly in the country, the cost of recovery and the ability to recover is very heterogeneous, not the same. So in wealthier neighborhoods, usually you have homes that have there's higher insurance rates that can help for rebuilding and recovery. When FEMA and other agencies disperse funds, they often do it on a cost-benefit calculation, which can make sense, but that means that places that have higher property values have a greater perceived benefit and so get more of the funds, and lower income communities can get less of the funds for recovery. So there's many reasons, but it's well established that crises like this tend to increase wealth inequality and other sorts of inequality, unfortunately.
When we look at extreme weather incidents and especially looking at this first 6 months of the year, should we expect this issue to get worse?
I don't know. I always hate being negative, and I feel like it's easy to be negative. So I don't know about worse. I don't know if things are going to get better. I think until, we start addressing climate change better and we start building in, safer, sort of better neighborhoods, I'm not positive things are going to get better. But I also don't know if they're going to get worse. Like, I'd hesitate to say that.
One last question I have for you as a researcher, as we mentioned, the Trump administration stopped this tracking in May, and the research nonprofit Climate Central picked it back up using pretty much the same kind of methodology. Are you concerned, though, about future tracking of this kind of data in this country?
Very much so. So again, I'm sort of going to answer your question as an economist, which is my expertise. And there's a lot of basic assumptions we assume for markets to work well and for economies to work well. Some people are familiar with, like we assume rationality, that people sort of know how to make their own best decisions. But another thing that we assume throughout economics is that all of the available information that's out there is out there, like full information it's called. And there's been a lot of research and papers. There was a Nobel Prize in 2001 about this, that the minute that you have less and less information in a market, it can start to unravel. And you don't get as good decision making, you don't get as good outcomes, things are costly or inefficient. So information is super important for well-functioning markets. And the fact that the federal government is reducing the amount of information out there and available to the public is very worrisome on many levels.
Well, Dr. Kosnick, I really appreciate your time with us this morning here on KMOX.
Thank you for having me.
That is Dr. Leah Rachel Kosnick, professor and department chair of the Department of Economics at the University of Missouri, St. Louis. Just ahead on KMOX, a downtown St. Louis developer says that he's hearing that people aren't worried about safety when it comes to moving into the city. We'll hear more about that and his latest development. Plus, the U.S. strikes more drug boats. One country is objecting to that. I'll talk with CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland at the bottom of the hour. And will you be replaced by AI in the workplace? We're going to hear how to avoid it from one HR expert. It's now 8:19. Let's get a check of the roads with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we still have issues out there. This traffic reports the service of the Drug Enforcement Administration. We still have this crash westbound 270 before the Chain Rocks Bridge. Left lane's blocked according to I can't see it, but I can see the jam. It goes back to 203, and we still have a jam from Bell Fountain into 367, a large hole in the pavement, maybe up to a foot deep. 2 left lanes are closed, and it's backed up at Bell Fountain Road. Eastbound Highway 70, Bryan Road into 79, still kind of busy. Eastbound 64, Boone's Crossing to Timberlake. Spady all the way in through Hanley is heavy. South 170, Page down through Ladou's kind of slow. Westbound 64 from Hampton to Hanley's crowded. South 270, south of 364 to Ladue. North 270, Tesson Ferry to Ladue. That's all pretty busy. Northbound 55, you've got a little slowdown at 67. Bayless up to River to Pear. Westbound 44, we've had problems downtown for quite a while with a stall and then a crash. It's still out there. Westbound 44 at 55. 44 is backed up to the Dome. And westbound 64 is jammed at 25th Street all the way across the Poplar. Eastbound 64 still heavy, 50 into Greenmount. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's a chilly start to the day today, and it will remain cooler today. It'll be sunny, though, a high of 64 degrees. Clear to partly cloudy, cold tonight with lows around 35. And then tomorrow, increasing cloudiness and cool. We may see a shower toward evening. Expect a high of 61 on Saturday. Cloudy and cool showers possible as well. A high 61. Right now we have sunny skies, 39 degrees downtown at the Arch.
DEA's National Prescription Drug Takeback Day. Learn more at DEATakeback.com.
Help keep our community safe and healthy during National Prescription Drug Takeback Day, October 25th. Find a collection site near you at DEATakeback.com. Do your part to lower overdose deaths and prevent drug misuse before it starts.
Recently, a new client called me and started by saying, "Mr. Morgan, I really need your help, but I'm just a nobody." Those words stunned me, and I immediately called him back, and we're now helping him and his family after a terrible accident. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Everybody who comes to our firm at their time of need is a somebody. I grew up poor, but my grandmother was like a queen to us. At Morgan & Morgan, our goal is to level the playing field for you and your family at your time of need. The insurance company has unlimited money and resources. You need a firm who can fight them toe-to-toe. For right at 30 years, we have fought them in courtrooms throughout America. Our results speak for themselves. And always remember this: everybody is a somebody, and nobody is a nobody. Visit forthepeople.com to learn about our firm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now. Promo code RADIO.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX.
We're putting our money where our mouth is. We have 150 people working in this building. We're keeping those jobs downtown. We've had people say, why don't you move? We're not moving. So we're committed to downtown. Thank you.
Downtown-based developer New and Found broke ground Wednesday on a $195 million project to bring Mansion House back to life. KMOX was there as CEO and founder Steve Smith made the announcement.
So I've been downtown since 1992, so 33 years. This is our fourth major investment in downtown St. Louis. And I've seen the ebbs and flows of downtown over that period. But I have to tell you right now, we have a lot of momentum, despite what some of the social media might say out there right now. So in addition to Mansion House, obviously we got the Millennium happening. We have the Great Rivers Greenway Brickland happening. What Alex Oliver is doing on Washington Avenue, what the O'Loughlin's are doing at the Union Station area, what's going to happen at the Millennium site with Cordish, what's happening with the Wainwright building that Arch the Park has acquired. That's over $1 billion of investment, more than $1 billion of investment that's either just recently put in place or is coming in place, including the $195 million we're spending here.
After the press conference, Steve Smith told our Stuart McMillan he's not worried about getting people to move in when Mansion House reopens in 2027.
To kind of counter the idea that it's too dangerous to go downtown and then too dangerous to live downtown, how are you going to sell that?
So I think people who say it's dangerous to be downtown are people who don't come downtown or maybe only come downtown for a sporting event. I come downtown every single day, including through COVID. I have 150 employees, of which about half are women, in this building right here. It's not dangerous. I think we fear what we don't know. We fear maybe a headline. But on a day-to-day basis, downtown St. Louis is safe. It's fine. And the statistics will bear that out, by the way. The statistics will show you that crime of all kinds is down about 50% in the last 3 years. And there was a spike during COVID. Not an issue.
Smith says the narrative that downtown is not safe did not deter investors from pouring millions of dollars into the Mansion House project.
Downtown has never really been a residential community in its 200-year history, and it's rapidly becoming that, which means people are living here at night. So anyway, there's definitely a perception. I get that. And by doing projects like this, hopefully we change that.
Selling people on the safety of the building, but selling the investors too. You've got a lot of people involved in this.
So I mentioned previously, most of the investment here is not from St. Louis. People from around the country who have a perspective of what's happening throughout the United States have done their due diligence, investing, collectively $195 million in downtown St. Louis. I think pretty smart people, they see where downtown St. Louis is headed, and that's why they're willing to make those investments.
When the new Mansion House is complete, it'll have 415 units, a monthly rent around $1,100. That 28-floor high-rise is the middle of 3 original Mansion House towers on 4th Street in downtown St. Louis. Gentry's Landing, the North Tower, is still active with residents. The South Tower has been empty since 2019 after being a revolving door of hotels. It's now 8:27. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Choosing the right agent to sell your home could mean
thousands and thousands of dollars and time. So make sure you choose the right one. And if you're interviewing agents right now, make sure to call Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, 314-325-6888. Call Gloria Liu and get your free instant home valuation. You can choose from multiple cash offers, sell with certainty. Here's the thing, Gloria Liu will guarantee to sell your home. She will put that in writing. She'll guarantee to sell your home at the price and time frame you both agree upon, or she'll buy it herself, and she'll put in writing that she'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. I don't think other agents are going to offer you the same. That's how confident Gloria Liu is that she will sell your home. That's why it's Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Visit her online right now at gloriahasthebuyers.com, 314-325-6888, gloriahasthebuyers.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud Phone System. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very
calm. I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business comm at ooma.com/radio.
8:30. Let's see what's still causing you problems on the roads. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still have our issues on 270, Megan. This traffic reports the service of Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing. That'd be westbound 270 coming out of Madison County. We had that crash westbound 270 at the Chain of Rocks Bridge. Looks like it's still there. Left lane still closed. It's a solid jam at 203. It's still backed up Bell Fountain through 367. Only right lane's open there because of a pavement failure situation. Eastbound 70, K to TR Hughes is slow. Eastbound 64, Chesterfield Parkway West to about Timberlake, Spady, and through the Interbelt still kind of busy. South 170 bogged down at Olive. Westbound 64 Hampton to Hanley slow. South 270 north of Olive to Ladue is busy. North 270 Gravois up to Ladue is pretty crowded right now. A little slow into 67 on 55. Bayless up to River to Perrin. We still have our downtown issues. Westbound 44 at 55, that crash. 44 is backed up close to the Dome. Eastbound 44 is backed up past the Poplar onto westbound 70. Westbound 64 jams at Ball Avenue. There's even a crash northbound Route 3 approaching the Poplar. It's backed up at 8th Street. The next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
My best friend Jenny came over for coffee, said it's cold enough in here to play hockey. Well, my furnace broken, it's already late. Call Jerry Kelly because they're open till 8. JerryKelly.com. They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. Jerry Kelly.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, sunny but cool today, a high of 64 degrees. Clear to partly cloudy, cold tonight. Looks like we'll have a low around 35. Right now, sunny skies, 39 degrees downtown at the Arch. The U.S. has struck 2 alleged drug vessels on the Pacific side of Latin America over the last 2 days, killing 5 people. The Trump administration has now carried out 9 known strikes against alleged narcotics trafficking boats since last month, leading to at least 37 total deaths. CBS News military analyst, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland joins us now. Good morning, Jeff.
Megan, good morning to you.
Colombia is balking at these strikes. Does the United States have the legal authority to do this?
Well, I don't believe they do, and most legal experts, I think, support that. You know, we have the 2001 and 2002 authorization to use military force, which ostensibly are still in effect. They've not been repealed by Congress, but they were specifically focused on al-Qaeda and those groups supporting al-Qaeda or basing al-Qaeda forces on their territory. And under international law, a broad range of specialists believe that you can't use the armed forces in a campaign against these people who are basically civilians. They're not terrorists motivated by an ideology. They're not attacking the United States territory physically like al-Qaeda did. They're involved in illicit criminal activity. And even though they are criminals, you can't just indiscriminately kill them. In past, of course, the Coast Guard had a very active effort in the Caribbean and the Pacific to intercept these particular vessels and capture the crews. And several Coast Guard officers I've talked to have told me they found that useful not only in holding the transit, but also in the intelligence you gain from interviewing the crew members who are largely just drivers. These are like Uber drivers transiting drugs and aren't actually senior people in the cartels, and also what you gain from the boat in terms of cell phones, flash drives, laptops. They also said to me about 1 out of 5 times when they halted a boat in those areas, they found it didn't have anything on board. And so far, at least, the Trump administration has not presented any clear evidence except a claim that these people actually were involved in illicit narcotics. So it's very likely many of them were.
One of the things that I have heard, Jeff, is that some of these routes that are being targeted aren't necessarily even directly supplying the United States with illicit drugs.
Well, we've concentrated on Venezuela for the first, I think, 6 strikes. And actually, of all the countries in the region, Venezuela is believed by intelligence people to export a very, very small percentage of the illicit narcotics coming to the United States. Most of it does, in fact, by sea, come from Peru, Colombia, Ecuador, as with the last couple of strikes might indicate. So if you talk about what causes the greatest injury to Americans and the greatest number of deaths to Americans, it's actually fentanyl. And most of the fentanyl, of course, is transited from Mexico by land. Consequently, I think in the aftermath of the most recent attack, Mr. Trump was kind of self-congratulating himself about these attacks. He said, well, we're now going to start conducting attacks on land. That probably sent out a shiver to the Mexicans, wondering if the United States now is going to do drone strikes, air strikes, special operations hits, whatever, on Mexican territory.
What other questions do you personally have about these operations?
Well, the first and foremost is, let's have some evidence that this, in fact, is ongoing. There has been no evidence whatsoever besides what Mr. Trump has said and what Mr. Hegseth has said, that these were, in fact, carrying narcotics. Now, were several of them likely doing that? Yes. We've seen bales floating in the ocean in the video. Those likely were, in fact, narcotics, but none of it had been presented as evidence. They captured 2 guys in a submersible who were very likely carrying narcotics, but they didn't hold them for interrogation. They immediately released them to their home countries. One of them in Ecuador was subsequently released. I don't recall us, if we are at war with these groups, releasing al-Qaeda guys that we had captured in the past, further, I think, undermining the argument that we're at war with these groups, that these are actually, combatants as opposed to just criminals.
Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, Megan.
That is CBS News military analyst, retired Army Colonel Jeff McCausland.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Your Money Report now, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys. Here's Bloomberg's Courtney Donahoe.
General Motors is getting back in the self-driving car game. GM plans to release a Cadillac Escalade electric SUV that allows drivers to go hands and eyes free. The automaker is targeting a 2028 launch of the vehicle. Stocks are looking at a lower open. S&P futures are down 11 points. Dow futures falling 90. There are reports the Trump administration is weighing restrictions on software exports to China, which is adding to the recent anxiety around trade. Meantime, oil jumping today to $61 a barrel. The U.S. announced sanctions on Russia's biggest producers to ramp up the pressure to end the war in Ukraine. And the world's most popular dating platform will soon require all new users to verify their identity through a biometric face scan. Tinder will force daters to take a short video selfie to confirm they're physically present and that their face matches what's shown in their profile. The face check security measure will roll out nationwide in the coming months. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
If you are beginning to wonder if a loved one is developing dementia, it can be a scary time and you might not know exactly who to turn to. Well, EverTrue Guide is a free program that connects families with dementia care navigators, experts who help you manage a dementia diagnosis at home with confidence. EverTrue Guide offers a personalized plan, caregiver education, 24/7 access to resources, training, and support groups, and this is all designed to help your loved one stay safely at home for as long as possible. Again, EverTrue Guide is a free program, so to see if you qualify, if your loved one qualifies, call 314-218-6661, or you can just visit evertrueguide.org. That's evertrueguide.org. A dementia diagnosis can bring on a lot of tough questions, some emotional moments, but you don't have to face them alone. The team at EverTrue Guide listens, understands, and they'll build a plan that brings peace of mind right to your door. evertrueguide.org.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS Show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. Republican candidate for Illinois Governor Darren Bailey lost his son, daughter-in-law, and 2 young grandchildren in a helicopter crash in Montana. Bailey and his wife issued a statement calling it an unimaginable loss. After 2 days with a federal mediator, the strike at Boeing appears no closer to an end. And Tesla takes a big hit in profit. Third quarter earnings fell to $1.4 billion. That's compared to $2.2 billion a year earlier. Let's see how things are moving on the roads with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, some good news for 270 drivers, Megan. This traffic report's a service of the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. They cleared the crash westbound 270 at the Chain Rocks Bridge just after our last report. We still have a jam from 203 to about Route 3. Then it's opening up. And on the Missouri side, you're still backed up approaching Bellefontaine into 367, a large pothole and a bunch of cars, half a dozen of them with flat tires. The 2 left lanes still closed there because of it. East and westbound 64, east of Winghaven, a little slow. Eastbound Clarkson into Timberlake busy. East of Lindbergh through the Interbelt's pretty crowded. South 170 bogs down at Ladue. Westbound 64 Science Center headed out through Hanley's heavy. South 270 Olive to 64. North 270 still busy. Gravois to 64. Northbound 55 just a little slow across River to Perrin to Loughborough. And the good news downtown as well. They cleared that crash westbound 44 at 55. Westbound 44 still backed up between the bridges downtown. Westbound 64 still a solid jam from west of 25th Street across the bridge. Eastbound 44 from the Poplar out onto westbound 70 to about Adelaide is pretty slow. And eastbound 64 backed up from 50 into Greenmount. I'm Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
Sunny but cool today, a high 64, partly cloudy and cold tonight with an overnight low around 35. Currently, we have sunshine, 40 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Megan Lynch. Thanks for listening to Total Information AM here on KMOX. Plans to deal with abandoned properties in St. Louis County are now on hold. As you heard here, a judge has invalidated a 2024 state law that authorized a land bank to deal with derelict properties. The judge ruled the law violated the state constitution because it included too many unrelated provisions, including one on backyard chickens. Well, joining me now, St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page. Dr. Page, thanks for your time this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on your show.
How big is the issue of abandoned properties in the county?
Well, derelict properties in St. Louis County has been a priority of ours for a while. We've allocated some funds for demolition, and the land bank is an important tool to clear the titles of problem properties, get them in the hands of people who will fix them up or put new houses there and get them back on the tax rolls.
Which communities seem to be impacted the most in the county?
This is mostly some pockets of North County. We have a couple of pockets in South St. Louis County as well, but most of our attention for this project is going to be North St. Louis County.
So when you look at those communities, how big of a setback could this be, considering that the land bank was just starting to meet?
Well, we're going to press forward with planning. Part of the first year, the land bank is identifying properties, coming up with a process to move them along, how to get them demolished. And there's a lot of planning that goes into something when it first starts. And we'll spend the next 6 months doing that, even without the ability to turn the titles and move the properties. So we're going to keep planning. So when the state law is passed again and we have our authority to run a land bank, we'll just execute the plan that we've created.
Explain for our listeners, you talked about turning the titles and needing that authority from the state legislature. Is there any other way to gain that authority to take over some of these dilapidated structures?
Well, what a land bank does, it allows us to clear the titles and clear any liens on the property and give someone a clear title. The current process in state law takes a long time, takes years. And even when someone has the title, it's still tentative for the first year of ownership and still comes with tax liens and other liens against the property. So being able to clear the liens and debt against the property, being able to give someone a clear title that can't be clawed back, that moves things on along a lot more quickly. There are a lot of properties that have more debt on them than the cost of the property itself. The cost of demolition of the house or whatever's there sometimes costs more than the value of the land underneath. So the land bank helps us clear those costs. We have some money set aside for demolition. It just makes things go a lot faster and jumpstarts the process.
When it comes to the board of the land bank, can they continue work? You mentioned that there are some things that can happen over the next few months.
Oh, I think they can do some planning. They can start meeting. They can set their priorities. They can learn about, get their processes in line, start building relationships in the community. There's a lot of preliminary work they can do, and we're going to ask them to keep doing it. So when we have this authority returned, we can start quickly.
A couple other issues while we have you to ask about. Yesterday, we had another rescue of 30 dogs. Animal control, earlier this week, we already heard how overcrowded they are. What needs to happen next?
Well, we ask people in the community to come to the St. Louis County Animal Shelter or Pet Adoption Center and take a dog home with you to give it a happy home. We have lots of animals, and we know St. Louis County residents like their dogs and like their pets, and we have a pet that we can match with you. So the most important thing is to come and adopt an animal. I would like to have more resources to improve the conditions at the shelter. This has a cost associated with it, and we have tough budget situation in St. Louis County, but the animal shelter is a priority. Taking care of our animals is a important value of St. Louis County, and I think it's important.
Dr. Page, you are still facing indictment. Your attorneys this week asked a judge to dismiss that. What's the latest in that? Can you comment?
Well, as county executive, my focus is really going to be on serving the people of St. Louis County and the two issues that we just talked about, making sure the land bank works, taking care of the animal shelter. There's some motions filed yesterday, and those motions tell the story of of what happened, and they'll be in court today explaining that. And I think that's going to move forward, and I'll have the ability to talk about it in the near future.
That is St. Louis County Executive Dr. Sam Page. Dr. Page, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Coming up next on Total Information AM, we're going to ask, what do you do if you fear that AI is going to take over your job? It's 8:47.
I'm Frank Ladd. This is KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman for Underdog. All right, here's what I have tonight. Football season is in full swing. Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. You can select entries and win money right now in Missouri. Tonight, we have the Chargers and the Vikings. I'm going with Justin Herbert and Carson Wentz going lower on passing yards than the numbers that are provided on the Underdog app. Herbert, 255.5. Wentz, 229.5. Both very good pass defenses. I'm going lower on both, but I'm going higher on TJ Hawkinson of the Vikings, 34.5 receiving yards. I think he'll go to the tight end pretty often. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code TOM and score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code TOM. Underdog. Make plays, win money. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken, and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, will be hosting his Taxes and Retirement Seminar at his office in Chesterfield on October 28th. From the big beautiful bill to taxes on your Social Security, Steve will not only cover the hurdles you'll face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC IPW, or registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Thanks for joining us this morning here on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A big question a lot of people are asking, can I be replaced by AI in the workplace? James Atkinson is Vice President of Thought Leadership at SHRM, the Society for HR Management, the world's largest HR professional membership association.
Yeah, well, this has been such a big question that people have had across the last couple of years. And I think that general interest/anxiety has risen to high levels. We know from our own research, just looking at how workers are thinking about AI, a lot are concerned that AI might replace their jobs. They're reading headlines saying that, huge unemployment is on the horizon due to this new technology. So there certainly is a lot of information out there. There's a lot of conversation around this topic. And one of the reasons why we really wanted to focus in on this was so that we could put some data behind it and really try to separate some of the possible hype from the reality of how this technology may play out.
Let's dig into some of the research that you've done, because I see that you have actually looked at what maybe some of those concerns and barriers are. What did you find out?
Yeah, so with our research, we surveyed more than 20,000 US workers and really wanted to understand what's happening in their jobs. How is AI playing out on a task level in their jobs. And so we asked them, what percentage of your job is being done already through some sort of automation? We use automation as a broad term, AI being a key part of that. We also asked them how they're using generative AI specifically. And then we asked them questions around whether or not there might be some non-technical barriers to job displacement. So we always are thinking about how's the technology improving and what's the capability of the technology itself. But the reality is that some jobs are less likely to be displaced by technology because of these non-technical barriers. Things like client preferences. A classic example of when I walk on a plane, I'm comforted by seeing a pilot in the front, but that plane can pretty much take off and land all by itself without a human up there. But none of us are excited about getting on a plane without that human there. And so that's a great example of kind of one of those non-technical barriers for client preferences. There's legal regulatory barriers. There's also just cost effectiveness considerations that may keep jobs safer than the technology itself may suggest.
And I guess we've always had advances that have shifted people's jobs and maybe displaced some people. So how do we look at maybe embracing this and, growing through it and progressing or transforming in our jobs?
I think that's a really great point, in that this is another kind of big technological transformation. One of the things that maybe makes this one feel a little bit different is just the pace at which this technology was adopted and is being adopted. So if we think back to the advent of email, it took several years to get 1 million users on email. I think what that means for folks is that, this is happening so quickly that they're just trying to figure out what it all means for their jobs. Now, what we do see is that even though our research suggests that there's around 6% of US employment, or around 9 million jobs that are at the highest risk of displacement, what that means is that for the vast majority of jobs, this technology is really about transformation of those jobs. The jobs are going to evolve. And so employees need to understand how that might change their current jobs and embrace this new kind of technological change in order to keep pace.
As an employee, let's say I'm concerned that my job may be phased out, but I have fantastic skills of organizing tasks, communicating, writing. Should I be working on ways on my own with learning some of these AI platforms, or what's the best use of my time to showcase those skills so that I can still be marketable?
Well, I think there's a couple of things to do. One is think about those sets of skills that might be important either in your job or the job that you're wanting to do. And if they are those technical type skills, again, something like using a generative AI tool is going to become a lot like using an Office suite moving forward. You need to make sure that you're able to leverage that in kind of the baseline sets of skills. But I will also say that one of the things that we've seen in some of our other research is this strong desire, especially in entry-level roles, to ensure that people have more of the human skills as well. And so things like communication, things like being able to, organize your thoughts and be creative, solve problems. People should ensure that they are honing in on those skills as well, because those are the types of skills that, when combined with the technology skills, really make you a very kind of viable and attractive candidate for any job.
That's James Atkinson, Vice President of Thought Leadership at SHRM, the Society for HR Management. Make sure you join us tomorrow on Total Information AM. We've got a group of men that are going to share the weight of caring for wives who have Alzheimer's disease. Plus, we'll tell you how to find a place to drop off old prescriptions for National Drug Take Back Day.
The government shutdown continues, so what better time to chat with Major Garrett, CBS Chief Washington correspondent. Plus, he was just inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame, and he joins us in studio today. We've got former Blue Barrett Jackman. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, coming to Missouri soon. December 1st. Finally, you'll